You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Sir Lana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Spaceboy, and across from me is the lovely Sir Lana, and this is Spaceboy Universe. It is March 31st, 2018, and tonight's guests are Jim and Jodi-Bray of the Outer Rim. As always, you can follow us on Twitter. That's at the SB Universe. Follow Sir Lana at Sir Lana. Follow me at Spaceboy. Spaceboy Music, that is. Follow the network that brings you all this fine program, and that's at the SBU Network. Remember to hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag SB Universe and hashtag Space Cadets. Want to hang out with them Space Cadets? Because they're a great group of people. Do so by going to spaceboyuniverse.com, click the dancing chat bubble in the player, and that will get you in with all the cool kids. In addition to Twitter, you can find the universe on Facebook, Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and iHeartMedia. Just look for Spaceboy Universe. Speaking of YouTube, you know you can find more than the archive of shows of the SBU? That's right. There is video content from Spaceboy Music, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, and so much more. And with Comic Palooza coming, you might want to check that channel too. So go there, subscribe. It is your duty as a Space Cadet. Can't catch a show live? No problemo. Take the SBU on the go via Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, and many more, including iHeartMedia. Because, man, we like to rocket across the interwebs. And on that magical note, let me bring in the lovely Sir Lana. How are you, Sir Lana?
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
That's fine. You got your treats over there.
I have a treat.
Okay.
And I'm into it.
All right. So, are you going to answer my question?
As of this moment, I'm okay. I have not been for the most of the week. We had a storm come through, and when the weather changes drastically...
The front of all things.
The front came through, and it changed the barometric pressure, and it destroyed me. Mm-hmm. It destroyed me for days with this headache.
Yeah, I think it was around Wednesday. I got this ice pick headache that I got shortly, but I know your headaches can get extreme.
It was all over. Even my teeth were hurting. They were vibrating. It went all the way down the back of my neck between my shoulder blades. Mm-hmm. I was nauseous. I couldn't look at light. I was seeing spots. The cat tried to help me. I had to stay home Friday from work. But, I'm okay now.
Well, good.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I could tell a big difference. I mean, you had, bless your heart, this morning. I had to push you out of bed.
I wanted to punch you so much.
First off, you always want to punch me, regardless.
You wake me up 9 a.m. on a Saturday, the day after a killer headache. With that lamp on your side, like facing me like some kind of passive aggressive gesture. Why do you hate me?
And then I made sure the cat got on the bed so that...
Oh, she was trying to see if I was dead.
Okay, but my thing is that, I told you that I need you. And I know you laugh at that.
You could have done all that yourself.
Hold on. Did you not state? I said, you help me remember things. And
I can't even remember things.
But did you not say, I guess now I understand why you say that. because you help me remember things. And you,
Only because I want to get out of wherever we are and come back home.
I know it's hard for you. It's the first step in this 12-step
We
program.
were in a home improvement store today for way too long. And don't go there. Don't get into it. Don't talk about it. Don't mention it.
Well, I'm going to do this. And that's not what I was going to do. I was going to do. There's the goat. Yeah.
No, don't.
Yes. I won't get, well, people are going to ask about it.
It's just him, being fussy. I mean, I don't blame you, but it's not a big deal. It was just irritating, and then it became secondary irritating. Then we had to go back, and it was irritating all over again. So
What, when we had to find the parts or
Yeah.
the go?
yeah, and then at least lunch was decent.
What? Okay, let's just talk about this.
No.
We're getting ready for Comic Palooza.
No.
And so we're getting things together, and I'm building some backdrops for the booth that we're in. And I got the parts, and I won't go in it. I promise on it. Don't pull that gun out on me. It's just that at the Home Depot, we almost left, but I talked to a manager and everything was good. We got the parts. So anyway, long story short is that we got the parts. Eventually, I did get some substance in me, and it was kind of like one of those Snickers moments, and when you're eyeballing me and you say, "You're acting like a diva right now."
Fact, I could tell you're about to pop off. I'm like, so I'm going to go to the car and sit in the car for a while. And you're like,
said,
okay.
No, you didn't. I told you better go to the car. I'm going to deal
You
with
didn't
this.
tell me to do jack.
Whatever.
I go if I want to go.
Whatever. Don't act like I said. You make it sound like go to the car right now. No, I said
I didn't do jack what
I
you gotta
said
say.
you need to go to the car because no telling because I might embarrass you. You always kind of bring up the subject of like your dad. Where he was like that in a lot of ways.
Oh, well, usually, when that happened, we would get some kind of crappy service at a restaurant or something would go wrong, and Mom would beg, like, don't say anything. Give us a chance to get to the car. Then you can have, explode. So we never knew what he did or what he said.
Right.
We waited. He gave us this courtesy buffer to get out of there, get away.
Well, that's exactly what I did for you today. I gave you courtesy buffer to leave the store while I addressed the manager about my issue. But anyway, long story short, I finally got what I needed.
You sounded like you beat the crap out of somebody. We had to get up early. I needed Sirlanda to help me remember things because, it's a daunting task to get ready for this Comic Palooza because we're just upping our game, and we're trying to.
Yeah, we're
trying to get more visuals and
Razzmatazz
media and things for you to look at, places to put your eyeballs, and people to sit there in the booth so we can go run around
and film and act crazy and stuff like that and meet people. Anyway, we're just expecting to have a good Comic Palooza 2018 this year. And, we've been talking about it from some time since, I guess, December, right, Solana? And
since October.
Oh, has it been that long?
Because Maker Faire was in October.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we had a good time with that one.
But that was speculation, but now we know.
Yeah, so knowing's half the battle. And so we're heading to Comic Palooza. We're going to have a good time. We've got things lined up. People are going to help us out. If indeed you're still down here and you're going to be down here and you want to participate in some way, just let us know through contact, and we'll see if we have some spaces still available for the help out, and we'll go from there. But anyway, we're getting stuff. It's cool. It's going to be fun, and that fun translates into you, the Space Cadets that listen, because you get to see stuff on YouTube. You get to hear interviews from the Comic Palooza.
There'll be photos on social media, like there was last year and the year before.
I get to strip Tad down to nothing but plastic while I take the soup off of him.
No, nobody knows who Tad is.
Well, Tad is,
Let me take a quick picture.
Yeah, take a picture of Tad. Post him on Twitter. Tad is my fill-in.
Tad is my spirit animal.
What? He's not an animal. I mean,
people say that,
And then I'm embarrassed to even bring up the fact that you wanted to put an undergarment on.
I said Tad needs a junk strap.
And I'm telling you, he doesn't have any junk to be supported.
Strapped. Does it have any jock to be strapped?
Yeah, so, I mean...
He doesn't know that. Poor thing.
So, yeah, that's the craziness. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. Just expect some cool stuff. So, Solana, it's interesting the subject we're segue into is, I guess it was Dino in a Facebook reply had mentioned that I should look into this Facebook thing that has been going down, where our data has just been flooded out there onto the market kind of situation with this this company that they purchased this data.
Yes.
On one end, we've all preached here at a SBU that, quite frankly, companies like Google and Facebook, they have your data. They've seen the way you look, and they've captured a lot of stuff. On the surface.
They know what brand of toilet paper you use.
Oh,
too.
yeah. They know a lot of data that would probably make you blush. That's how much data that they have. And I say they, I'm referring to Google and Facebook. And it's become apparent with the Facebook debacle that's been out there. Now, I'm guilty of using Facebook. I know a lot of our listeners do still, too.
I got suckered into it way back when.
What? You actually suggested I get involved with it, so you got in it first. Yes.
I got suckered into it because somebody wanted to play Scrabble with me, and then there was a copyright issue, and they shut that down, and now I'm stuck here.
You have nowhere to go.
I can't get out.
Well,
I had to stay because you got on it, and I said, I got to keep them skanks off you so they know you're married.
You mean my Facebook honeys?
The ones in your mind?
Whatever. Stay classy, Facebook. Anyway, so, there's this article that was put out by The Guardian. Are you ready? Here is all the data Facebook and Google have on you. An article written by Dylan Curran. And it goes in and it kind of really breaks it down. We've told you before that things like this in this article, but one of the things comes off the top of the list. Google knows where you've been, especially with your phone, because if you do
GPS,
don't turn off that I forgot what it's called. It's got the little arrow thing. Location tracking. Yes, exactly, and that helps with helping you with driving, with maps. It's in their application. So they know you've been. They know you've been to the strip club.
They know when you've been sleeping.
Yeah, they know when you've been sleeping. They know when you've been to the other side of town for Southern Made Donuts. So, I mean, it's...
I'm fine with them knowing about the donuts. In fact, they should bring them to me.
Google also knows all the apps that you use. I mean,
of course.
So,
it interacts with some of them.
I'm not worried there because a lot of I have a lot of games on my...
Knows what countries you've been talking to when you go to sleep. I don't know how it knows that. But
of course, Google knows all your YouTube history.
Because they own YouTube.
Because, they own YouTube. And, man, I guess they're going to find out all the conspiracy theories. That,
all the crazy crap you've been looking at. It knows if you're... progressive, conservative. It knows your religious orientation, or if you don't have one.
I don't think it knows that because I don't really push that stuff out there. So, but if it does, it maybe knows as a pinch of what we believe in. Google can fill millions of Word documents based on the data that it knows on you. That's frightening.
Yes.
It just puzzles me. To wrap my mind around that. Facebook also has reams and reams of data on you too. So,
what kind of data are we talking about? Every message you've ever sent, like emails and
basically
chats, or
think about it. All the things, the posts you've posted. This includes every message that you've ever sent or been sent, every file you've ever sent or been sent, all the contacts on your phone. All the audio messages you've ever sent or been sent. That's pretty significant if you think about it. The fact that they've kept track of things that you've sent, like attachments, that bothers me. But let's see here. What else here?
Facebook.
Facebook stores everything from your stickers to your login location. And I was talking to Solana about this.
They
And
kind of have to do the login thing, don't they?
yeah, but well, they don't have to do it. And what I was going to say is that recently I logged into a different location on a different computer for Facebook, and it prompted me like in an email that said, "Do you know that your Facebook account was logged in over here?" Blah blah blah, and it was like, okay, well, that's cool. Maybe it's just kind of a security thing. Google does the same thing because I've had that happen
Yeah,
before.
they're really paranoid. It's
Well,
like, do you know you're doing this? Do you know? Do you know?
I liked it in a sense with Google when they told me, because I was being hacked by some other party.
It can happen very easily.
By somebody wanting to get the Space Boy stuff. And I'll just leave it at that. But, you know, they can track you in that sense. And in one sense, it could seem like it's a good thing. In another sense, it's a bad thing. This is the real kicker here, Solana. They can access your webcam and microphone. Now, hopefully you haven't been doing anything naughty in front of the phone. You know, there's been some times that... you know, I've gotten to the point where I don't take my phone to the restroom with me because I don't want that stuff put on the internet, or people, you know, some pervert or fetish thing that, you know, anyway, I digress. So they have that stuff, or conversations that we have. I'm trying to remember recently, we had a conversation.
Your search history too, huh?
Well, we had a conversation recently, and I saw something pop up on the phone in Facebook.
You think it listened?
I think it listened.
I don't like that's creepy. That is creepy. So can I access your webcam and your microphone? Well, I could get that. The different ways it stores your data is interesting on your computer if you're doing it on your computer. Search history document, I suppose, of course, it's keeping that up. That's why when I feel like if I'm going to do something slightly questionable, especially if it's research for this show or if it's fringe or I go to DuckDuckGo. I don't even mess with Google. So,
well, you know, another thing was that I found it funny was that Google tracks your workout routine.
well,
And I made the joke to Solana. I said, "Well, I guess they don't have any data on us."
Nope.
The Google knows every event that you've ever attended and when.
if you've used their calendar.
Well,
I've not used their calendar.
I guess. I mean, if they have access to your mail. They have access to
Gmail. Yeah.
They don't delete any emails. In fact, they keep all the ones that you have currently
And Google Drive.
and the deleted ones too. So you can delete an email and they still keep that information.
So if you put something on their Google Drive, your Google Drive, and then you take it off, they still have it. So it's like they're trying to get files from everything that ever existed in history.
Here's another one that I don't like at all, is that they have years worth of photos of you. This is all the photos ever taken with your phone, broken down year by year, and includes metadata of when and where you took those pictures. So every picture, think about that, every picture.
So they know when and where I was every time I took a picture of the cat, because it's only you and the cat, you and the cat, you and the cat.
Or
So I'm sure that's really fascinating for Facebook.
or pictures that you've taken, like, hey, what's this on my back? Can you show me what this is on my
Well,
back?
I'm sure. I hope they enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that's pretty messed up. So, you know, and another thing that gets me is that at least with Google, it gives you an opportunity to go in and, quote unquote, delete things, like scrub your history or delete other things, and this kind of option to do it. But based on this, I get the impression that is you could delete all that, but Google is going to keep
They're
a
going
record.
to keep it. They got it somewhere else.
They're going to keep a record of it.
Well, here's the thing. So you might say, well, what do I do? What's going on? So you and I just talked about Facebook been tracking the calls and text you made using their mobile without you realizing it. You might have noticed some recent reports that Facebook's been logging people's calls and SMS, that's your text history, without their permission. They said it's not the case. The call and text history is logging as part of an opt-in feature for people using Messenger. So if you're using the Messenger part of Facebook, which is a separate app on your phone,
Right.
to do that. So everything I've ever said to you in the messenger is probably there forever.
Well,
So
I mean, we've said a few things that are kind of off color, but you know,
it was private as far as we knew.
yeah.
So how
But
do you want to know?
You know what would worry me about that, though, is
What?
that you put this information into the wrong hands, and they can spin it in a direction
Yeah.
that makes us look totally evil.
So
and
if we
and I
want to
don't like
talk
that.
smack about somebody, we need to leave everything in the house and go get in the car and lock the door and turn the radio up.
Well, it's kind of like our thing that we do. Like, we don't talk normally when we're on the mic or when we're in the studio.
Yeah,
because
if we
we're
wanna
afraid
talk
to
about
say
you-
something stupid.
We don't talk
hurt
during the
somebody's
breaks.
feelings, or
We don't talk during the breaks. We don't, because in case we accidentally leave the mic on. We don't talk, after the show. We don't talk before the show while
it's,
we're in here.
It's like those news blurpers.
This is a safe place. We don't talk about anyone or anything controversial. We don't talk smack. We wait till we get out of this room, then we start talking about you.
And Solana kids, I mean, we, even when we're not in here, I think we're pretty, we're not.
I got better things to do and talk about you.
There you go. I'll
Anyway,
second that.
let me get to this first. Do you want to know what Facebook knows about you and how to find it? Here's what you do. Go into your Facebook account. Go ahead and log in. You go to the settings. The bottom of the settings, you'll see a download a copy of your Facebook data and click it. And it'll give you a chance to download your archive. You enter your Facebook password and you'll be sent an email with your entire archive, and I think it's zipped. They said it could take up to 20 minutes or more to get to you, depending on how much crap you have. You'll get a link in your inbox, and it's time sensitive, so once you get it, you better click it. So you get that zip file, and you can browse your way through a set of web page-like stores of information. There'll be an index.htm, and it'll look like a little like Facebook's setup, but you'll see that it's kept track of every event you've ever attended, videos you've uploaded, locations you've been, devices you've been logged in from, messages you've sent, images you've posted, facial recognition, and even advertising topics and things you prefer being served. And it's just a big, fat, disturbing thing.
Well, it's kind of, when you said the tailor-made commercials, it reminds me of the Minority Report. I know you needed to catch up on that movie or see a little bit more of it, but
I've seen Minority Report a long time ago.
Okay,
it was
good.
before I met you, way before I met you.
It didn't strike me as
I
a
didn't
movie.
like it because that whole eyeball thing. You remember that?
Yeah, that's true. He got a shine on. That's what they called it, his eyeballs. So anyway, it was kind of cool when some of that was like coming out where cookies could, tell you, hey, you should, if you like this, you should like this, or check this deal out. Because let's be frank, guys, some of you do not need feminine protection, and that kind of commercial is not tailored to you. Whereas, I guess what a commercial wouldn't be tailored to you, Sir Lana?
Jock itch cream.
There you go, Blue Star. I don't even know if that's
still around. Man, that was on all the time when I was younger. Blue Star ointment, the one that heals.
I was like, man.
Jock itch, psoriasis, tetter, ringworm.
I know I'm only 8, but do I need that? I mean, that's how often it was on the commercials,
They were hammering that stuff.
But point taken, it's not like a commercial tailored to you, right? I mean, it's a male product.
Most commercials back when we had regular TV, regular cable, or local, when we used to see ads, 90% of that stuff had nothing to do with me, especially as a kid. So,
but
that's the nature of ads.
And I guess the point I was trying to make is that at least now, if you look at something on Amazon or something that requires cookies, and you go to another site and you'll see advertisement, hey, I was just looking at that, and
it's creepy. It's creepy how it comes up. But as far as advertisements, I am so locked down. I've got ad blockers. I pay for subscriptions to get around ads. I haven't seen an honest-to-goodness advertisement like the kind you see on TV, on regular TV. I haven't seen one of those in I don't know how long.
And see, I'm a little bit of the opposite, because I don't believe in locking everything down. I believe in having to see a little bit of what's out there so I can, oh, that's cool, or yeah, I'd like to see more of that, or yeah, I know I'll never own an Infinity car or whatever, but it looks kind of cool, yeah, but
I gotta find that Blue Star Ornament commercial. I want to see if I can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, so I don't mind. It's almost like when I
sorry.
talk, you're about
Carl's.
to knock. You got like 4,000 cups over there, and you're ready to knock stuff over.
Shut up!
I just saw that one almost took a dive for you.
Shut up! I was behind the mic.
Yeah, but there you go, Sir Lana. As far as Facebook and Google,
they're Big Brother.
You stole my thunder, but thank you. 1984 is upon us. Big Brother. If you've never read it, then you should pick you up a book. It'll enlighten you in the day and age that we're in, and the technology is out there. Yes, Sir Lana.
1986
is when that came out.
Blue Star Ointment.
I told you it was back in the 80s. So of course I was 16 at that time. So. What, 1986?
You might have needed some Blue Star Ointment.
Trust me, I did not need that for that, and then you need to stop that right now. And now, with the last few minutes before we go to break, Solana, and we bring our excellent guest in, Jim-and-Jodi-bray, which, incidentally, when they come on,
I have so much to tell them. Do you have more content right now? Or?
No, I was about to,
I was going to tell you real quick, because this is the last day of Women's History Month.
Sure.
Super quick. 7 films you didn't know were written by women. Real quick. It's a Wonderful Life, Frances Goodrich. Halloween, 78, Deborah Hill. Superman, 1978, was written by Leslie Newman. Star Wars, Episode 5? Empire Strikes Back was written by Leah Brackett. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Melissa Matheson. Guardians of the Galaxy, Nicole Perlman. The Shape of Water, Vanessa Taylor. So, how about them apples?
I guess they're all right. Tasty, if you will. I was going to mention something before you went down that list, too, and I cannot remember. Man, I hate when that happens. See, that's why I need you to hear it.
Was it about Blue Star Ointment?
No, it's not about Blue Star Ointment. We need to move past that because this is a family show.
Now I'm gonna find the Diesel Driving Academy ad because that was a local one.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna know that ad because
that was strictly Shreveport.
I was gonna say nobody would know that, but your swamp cousins.
Don't be jealous of my swamp cousins. You wish you had them.
There's Larry and Daryl and Daryl. So anyway, I guess what we'll do is we'll run the break thing, and I guess we'll get Jim-and-Jodi-Bray on the phone of the Outer Rim. We're going to have a good conversation with them. They're always fun. They're our doppelgangers from up there in Connecticut, and they've been working on some
live action original sci-fi productions.
You know we're doing a show, and we're not doing phone right now, right?
I'm looking for stuff.
Okay, but you need to put it down because we're going to need to get
to do stuff. I can multitask.
All right, people. While I get Sir Lana to multitask, we'll be right back after this.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
This is author Gordon Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Ronnie.
Jim Bray is the chief executive producer and creator of The Outer Rim. He's an accomplished stage director. Jim has worked in the theater for 40 years. He's acted, produced, directed, designed, and built sets and props, as well as done special effects makeup. He has owned his own theater company, Stage Door Productions, and has also produced several short films. He lives in Northern Vermont with his wife, Jody, their two kids, Ethan and Kaylee. Even their cat, Shadow, is involved in the production and now playing in the character Isis and Gary Seven's Black Cat for Anthology segment Assignment Earth. James has worked with Starship AJAX and Star Trek New Voyages Phase 2 as a makeup artist, set designer, prop maker, and he's very grateful and excited for their opportunity to produce a new show. Jodi Bray, his wife, has been involved in theater since The Music Man in high school and on and off for the past 30 years. This is Jodi's first foray into the film arts, and she finds the differences in being front of the camera and on stage to be at opposite ends of the spectrum. But she's excited about playing a Starship Captain, an honor bestowed upon her by very few. She promises to keep her portrayal of R.J. Cage's character very true to canon and what a Starship Captain should be, so her biggest and most important role is that of mom and a son and a daughter. So we welcome both Jim and Jodi Bray to Spaceboy Universe once again.
First off, I know the bio is a little off.
Yeah, it's a bit off.
So, but that's good because this is a good starting point. First, welcome Jim and Jodi. We're so excited to have you.
We're happy to be back.
Yes, yes. This makes your second time, or no, is it the second or third time?
I third.
Yeah, third time for the universe.
Might be fourth.
Jim, you sold them a bill of goods.
So first off, I want to say this has been a big week for both of y'all. Happy birthday to both of you. Today is Jody's birthday. Big happy birthday to you. And then, of course, a little bit earlier this week, it was Jim's.
Wow.
And so happy birthday to both of y'all.
Thank you.
Yes, we're now officially old.
Well, I'm just around the corner from you guys, so don't feel like you're left in the dark by yourselves.
And I'll be aging next month myself, so.
I haven't gotten my AARP letter yet. I'm feeling left out.
You know, I got to be honest with you, I've already started receiving those like last year, and it was like, I felt really bad when I got my first one, and it was like, what the? You know, I think it's a little, and she's laughing over there, but, you know, it's like, okay.
It has to do with how much hair you have left on your head. That's when they send the letters.
Well, I still have hair.
They don't like me because I have hair. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, seriously, I haven't gotten anything from them. Wow. Maybe I'm off the grid.
It'll happen. Hang in there. Cross that line now, so you'll start getting them.
So, Jim, tell us, what's been going on since the last time we talked? Obviously, we need to work on getting you a new bio, but so bring us light speed ahead as far as what's been going on, sir.
Well, we don't worry about canon anymore because we're creating our own now. So, yeah. So the only canon we have is the one that Captain Cage carries on her hip. So that's that. You know, we're creating our own universe now since we stepped away from the Trek universe and made our own.
Mm-hmm.
Ran away from it. We didn't.
Yeah, we ran away screaming. Ah!
So it's got to feel good and exciting to create something new and original. Then, I mean, not to say that, you know, we don't honor our roots as far as Trek is concerned here, but
yeah, but the thing is, we're not chained to it anymore, and that's a good thing because it forces us to become more creative. We don't have to glean from what's already there. We got to start from scratch, which means we really got to put our thinking caps on and come up with something that everyone will like.
That's a good challenge.
Yeah, it's opened up a completely new world, universe, galaxy, whatever you want to call it. It's opened it up to us, and the sky's the limit for us. We can do whatever we want, basically. And, well, that's not canon. That doesn't seem like it's scientifically feasible. Well, you know what? It's our show, and it's all make-believe, so... You know?
But we do have a science advisor, David Sturm, who's amazing, and
physicist with the University of Maine, and just a spooky smart guy, and a Trekkie.
Yep, so. and a sci-fi nut. So he keeps us on track.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it certainly does help. I mean, we don't want wonky science.
Yeah, because we throw probably something to him hypothetically. You know, hey, do you think this would work? And he'd give us yay or nay and a why. And you could do this, but if you did it better, it would be like, just give us reasons. I'm too stupid for the techno jargon and stuff.
Yeah,
so
techno babble.
Yeah.
Well, this shoot we had just a month ago, it had its share of techno babble, and I tried to keep it to a minimum. Just for the sake of it's tough to. I mean, it looks good on paper, but when you try to say this stuff, it don't.
Plasma.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
I like that. Peter Piper picked the peck of plasma.
That's mine. You don't steal it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good one, Captain. So anyway, but everyone was kind of tripping on it. So that was the worst part of the shoot. Everything else, we had a ball. We had an absolute ball. We got it. Well, we got the first Challenger episode about 99% shot out. And there's a second episode in the works, and we got all of the shipboard stuff for that episode done.
Yeah. So we just kind of did a Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings thing. We just, hey, we got the sets here, let's shoot it out now,
Yep.
Which kind of freaked me out because Jim just piled on all these extra lines on me. I'm like, I can't do this. I was freaking out.
It was like while we had the camera set up at such and such an angle, it was like, well, this angle will work for that other scene.
I felt like
In the other episode, let's blow it out. Let's do it. And that's what we did. And everyone was kind of like, wait, what? And I kind of dropped it on them.
Kinda.
Well, but
hey, we muddled.
But it kept things exciting.
We muddled through.
And everyone had a lot of fun. And we ate a lot of good food, and we made some good fellowship and some new friends, and just had an absolutely lovely time.
Yep.
And we got really good performances from people.
Oh, wow.
Jim made me cry a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of crying on stage because she has these flashbacks of when her and her ship gets destroyed,
which is also a wreck.
and that's what kind of messes her up. So
what are we gonna do?
Were you going to say something? Sorry?
Yeah.
I was saying, I've enjoyed looking at your production photos as you go on the sets, and of course Jody looking like a total badass as a captain, and then the ship's models look so good, Jim. If you're building them or who's building them, but they're excellent.
Oh,
are you kidding me, Jim? Except for the VHS. Wow.
Wow.
Not awake. The video effects, the CGI. Other than that, it's been Jim doing kind of everything. So yeah. It's, he'll bring it out to me, and he'll come and say, "What do you think of that?" And I'll go, why is this on there? And why do you have Easter eggs plastered on top of it? And what is that? Is that like the garden hose? What is that? Sort of stuff. Well, it'll look good once I paint it. That's the usual comeback. It'll look good once I paint it.
Yeah.
Well, they do that for real, don't they? Stick, like kit bashing, and
yeah, I was going to say, it looks like, oh my God, this.
It worked for Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Once they paint it and everything, prime it, and it like blows your mind how it turns out.
It's amazing what great paint will do.
The industry word is greeblies.
Yeah.
They coined that phrase over at Industrial Light and Magic when they were working on the original Star Wars. They called all the little bits and doodads from model kits stuck all over the models. They called that greeblies.
Yes.
Just to be weird.
So, and I've got boxes and boxes of greeblies.
Yeah, he's a greebly hoarder. I buy something that has like some plastic wrap on it. No, it doesn't go into the trash. No, it goes in Jim's little happy magic bin downstairs. You know how much crap you got down there? Oh my God.
Too much, I know.
Oh my.
But then
sandwich containers, stuff from the kids' toys when they were kids. I mean,
sounds like our house now.
Yeah, pretty much. We have 3, well, minus the studio, but we have 3 rooms, and 2 of them are pretty much occupied with just stuff.
They're bedrooms, but there's no beds. There's no bedroom furniture. It's just
there are things on
floor
racks.
To ceiling racks with storage.
Storage, yes, of just different things.
I talk to people with the air quotes going, bedroom, yeah.
But so I've been watching the Facebook channel too, and it's just really been awesome to see the progression that you've made on your production, and of course, like I said, I have to say it too, Jody, you just look fabulous as this captain, and Jim sent me a few shots, and there's this one where he's got you on a green screen where you're kind of looking up, and you've got your gun, and you're ready to do battle, and
yeah, we call that one the Han Solo.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, we thought we were all done and everything, and Jim's like, oh, I forgot to get this one shot. Here, and he hands me this gun. He goes, go stand in front of there. Whoa, what do you want? What am I doing? He goes, okay, now do this. And I went, seriously? I'll hurt my back. I thought I was all done. I could go downstairs and get.
Yeah,
back
she looks great, but she almost fell over taking that pose.
Yeah.
It's actually a difficult pose, but boy, did she look good in the picture.
A little off balance, but thank you.
You definitely nailed it. Now, Jody, what did you do to prepare to get into this role? I mean, what steps did you take? I mean, I know that every actor has their process, but, physical, mental, what were some of the things that you did to prepare for this?
Well, I've eaten a lot of Cheetos in the last couple of years, and put on the weight. So I've got that going on for me. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, that's been a constant battle of mine is the whole weight loss. I have been trying to get quote unquote buff for this role since 2013, I guess, and it's it's win some, lose some. But as far as the mental process goes, I reach down into my past. We all have skeletons. We all have things that we've done that we're not proud of.
Mm-hmm.
We all have things that we hold on to. A lot of mistakes that have been made, and I use that as a source to grab from, and it so far works because I cry a lot. Oh yeah, it makes me cry a lot.
Well, it seemed like a lot, but it's only a couple of scenes where we see the captain privately kind of break down a little bit. But when she's with her crew, she is clearly in charge, and the way I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think the place you went to was there are certain people that you would like to tell off, and so you kind of went there with that, and there's a certain motherliness that she kind of gives the role to, and so I think she draws from that a little bit as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do. There were a couple of scenes where I felt more mother hen-ish than trying to be the captain, but I never wanted to get too close to the characters because with her history, she's lost a lot of people, and I think this time around she's very, very guarded. She's very gun shy. She doesn't want to make friends. She's like, I've had enough. I've still got a lot of my demons that I'm putting up with and trying to get rid of, and I don't want to be friends with anybody. Just let me do my job. And I've got this clown that's my first officer, and he thinks he's all that in the side of Cheetos, but he's not. And no, he's good. He's a good character. He's very smart, all that stuff. But the biggest problem is he doesn't like the captain.
Well, his story is he expected to get the ship when their captain was lost.
He thought he was going to be next in line to get the ship, but it didn't turn out that way. So he's got a huge chip on his shoulder.
He's butthurt is what
that.
it is.
Yeah, he's wicked butthurt. Yeah. And so there's that whole issue between them. I mean, he's almost borderline. What's the word I'm looking for? Subordinate. I mean, he's definitely subordinate. But there are
insubordinate.
Insubordinate. Thank you.
Yeah,
I had my oven sub in messed up. Anyway, he's been very insubordinate, and she's trying to figure him out, and she finally does, and because she goes back and looks at his record and she sees what he's all about, and then gives him what we in the South refer to as the come to Jesus meeting. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, it's definitely down here in the South. So Jim, the cast that you've had to work with, any standouts? Any things that kind of like, hey, we should watch this actor or this actress? Anything that I mean, obviously Jodi is definitely one to watch for, but you're only as good as your weakest link. So what are some of the other actors and actresses we should look for in this production? Well,
Kyle Kramer, who plays the first officer,
who has my come to Jesus meeting with.
He really surprised the hell out of me. I mean, I knew he was going to do great.
He was amazing.
But he so brought it. to the character. As far as I'm concerned, the real standout is the one professional actor we had on deck, who was Nana Ponce de Leon. She's out of New York City. She's done a bunch of work.
She's Venezuelan.
Ooh.
But,
and she's just a lovely person to work with. There's no ego there, which is a wonderful thing. In fact, she was lending advice to the other actors.
She was so helpful, because there were so many things that all of us weren't sure about, and she would just step in and, why don't you try saying it like this? How does this make you feel? Blah blah blah.
And I told her early on. Look, if you want to share what you know with others, feel free to do that. You're not going to bruise any egos here, because we all want to do the best that we can do. And if there's something you see, bring it to me, or pull someone aside and give them some advice if you see fit to do that. And she's a very giving person, a very giving actress, and
very talented.
And extremely talented. She had a couple of scenes where I was just moved by her performance. So what we've got here is just an absolute gem, I think. And she brought life to so many scenes. It was really cool.
You have some very young actors in our group. We have a young lady by the name of Aurora Borealis.
Aurora, well,
we're calling her Aurora Borealis.
Okay, we're going to stick with that.
Yeah, Aurora.
Aurora's amazing.
Yeah, she's a nice, good actress. She's still in high school, which freaks everybody out because the way she carries herself, she's in her 20s. I was like, you're how old? What?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Keep the jokes, rated PG-13, guys, okay? We got a kid in the room. What?
What do you mean we got a kid? Over there, Aurora. What? She's a kid? What do you mean she's a kid?
Anyway, she was fantastic.
She plays our communications officer,
Nee
Tomlin, who is an alien.
Yep. And let's see, who else? Oh, our kid, Ethan. We think the poor kid got drug into it. He's playing Zokal.
Yeah, he's playing Zokal, who is
Andorian.
No, a Keldaran. We don't have Andorians. No, not Starship.
He looks like a sunburnt Andorian, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's very red, and he does have antenna.
He's heat miser Andorian. Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
Well, his race is called Keldaran. They're an interesting mixture of Andorian and Vulcan and a couple of other things. Those were what I drew on to create his race and the way they behave.
They're sunburned.
And our navigator is also a Keldaran, Brian Koval, who gives a very subtle, quiet performance. And then there's Bill Lutz, who is not only our director of photography and editor, but we gave him a role at the helm as well. And he plays someone from Ursa Major. The people from Ursa Major know they are not bears. Because every time I bring Major, they go, "Oh, a bear creature." No, his people are made of stone. So he kind of looks like an interesting cross between the Grey Hulk and the Thing.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And once we got him into the makeup, it was just, oh yeah, this was a good decision because he just looked great, and he brought a lot of energy to the role, and it was a lot of fun. And then there's David Stouse, who plays Carmichael, our chief engineer, and yeah, he's Scottish. Yes, our token Scottish dude.
Token Scottish.
He's about a year away from retirement. He can hardly wait to get off the ship. But in the meantime, he's got this young Keldaran kid as his assistant. And he's just a burr in his saddle. And that really comes up in the second episode because the two of them end up stranded on the planet together.
But you digress.
And then there's Kevin Diaz, our Ensign Ricky.
Ensign Ricky.
So
this kid, we had him doing everything. He volunteered to be a PA, and he did everything from... we had him doing everything except get coffee for us, which is pretty much what PAs are supposed to do. But we had him running the slate, setting up shots,
He did his share of stepping and fetching.
Oh,
but,
he was amazing, and we also put him in front of the camera too.
And yeah, we gave him a role as the captain's personal steward. Yeah. So it's kind of the same. Well, it's the same thing as a yeoman. Okay, but we call them a steward. And he didn't complain once. The kid's a terrific actor too.
Oh my God, he's an amazing actor. We got to play off of Ethan one time. We did the short bit with Shakespeare, and him and Ethan just shoot up the scenery. It was awesome.
It was a beautiful thing to watch. So you ask for standouts, but everyone brought it.
I guess in the words of Indiana Jones in the temple, the last temple, or what was it? You have chosen wisely.
Charles Root.
Don't forget Pat Evans.
And Pat Evans. Oh my God.
Charles Root came and joined our cast. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he has played Mr. Montgomery Scott in Star Trek: New Voyages.
Oh, really?
He was Scotty in pretty much all of New Voyages, and he joined our group, and he plays our Admiral
It's fun for him to be able to create a role different and really spread his wings and play. And he had a good time.
And again, another character who's just clearly in charge and relaxed in his position.
Mm-hmm.
And he was only on set one day because that's all we needed him. But what a blast! I mean, this guy's so great to work with. And then I say for last, because another real standout, I guess, would be Pat Evans, who plays our doctor, Dr. Martin. And he is, you can actually see him in one episode of Star Trek New Voyages. He had a small role in that.
It was in Mindsifter.
In Mindsifter, he plays the administrator of the mental hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Where Kirk is trapped.
Right.
So that's our doctor. He always ends up playing a doctor. I don't know why. I guess he's just got that bearing about him that he can play a doctor. But I've worked with Pat.
He does play Scrooge.
Yeah, he does play Scrooge. He makes a wonderful Scrooge. Mm-hmm. But I've worked with Pat a number of times, and I would do any production with this man because he is just amazingly good. He's got a great attitude. Another very sharing and giving actor who just has a good time and doesn't take himself too seriously. And just a good friend on top of everything else. So that, yeah, okay.
It sounds like you have a well-rounded cast, and it sounds very exciting. So hey, look, we're at the top of the hour, so let's take our break. When we come back, we'll have more conversations with Jim and Jodi Bray of the Outer Rim right here on the SBU, so don't go anywhere.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Hey, Sir Lana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
are listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Ron.
It'll be my luck.
All right. We're back, and we're talking to Jim-and-Jodi-Bray of the Outer Rim. And, right before we came back, Jim popped in somebody in his head that he forgot to mention. And, Jim, we want to make sure to mention that person so that no one feels left out.
Yeah, and that way he doesn't come looking for me. Dave Buckley, who we met working on a show, on a stage production, and such a unique individual. He's got such a great speaking voice and demeanor. We said we got to figure out how to work this guy into it. So he's going to be the ship's chaplain. So we kind of introduce him in this one episode, and then we have yet to figure out how we're going to write in some stuff for the ship's chaplain. But that's something we're working on.
That's interesting. You're going to have a ship's chaplain, but not a psychiatrist.
Well, he's also a counselor.
Okay, counselor.
Chaplain. Yeah, Deanna Trey with red hair and a beard. Yeah.
Speaking of counseling, we had an interesting day today that we wanted to share with you.
Well, you cut Jody off.
Go ahead, Jody.
No. Go ahead. Yours is much more interesting. Go.
No.
No.
Trust me.
Out ahead of us by dangling this little bit of info.
Well, no, it was just a funny thing because we were thinking of you anyway because of tonight. But little quick backstory. This is how Space Boy and I met. It was online through online personals, and we decided to meet at a Chinese buffet. And that's your backstory. So we're running around today, and the usual thing comes up. Well, where do you want to eat lunch? I'm like, why don't you just shoot me in the head? It'll be much simpler. So he's like, well, you've got 30 minutes to decide. And I'm like, now I feel like I'm on a game show. Now my brain's frozen up. So we were driving. He's driving around, wasting my gas, not knowing he doesn't have a plan. So
first off, let me stop you there. The whole reason we drive around is we don't get out much anyway, and so I like to explore the neighborhood. And I may not know exactly where we're going to go eat, but at least I say, hey, there's something that we could add to the list at another time.
Forget about by the time it's.
But that is my theory
so
my thing.
I said to him while we're driving around, I said, look, if I could go back in time. To the day we met at that Chinese buffet, and I could tell you everything you need to know that you eventually found out right there at that meeting, and say, here's all the restaurants and the types of foods I'm going to eat, and I'm never going to change or deviate. If you can't get on board with this is your chance to walk out now. Like, for instance, this buffet we're in, you're never going to set foot in one of these again. So I forgot what your response was that, but basically what it is, it devolved into this.
I'm right here.
What did you say?
I said, well, let me flip it back at you, knowing what you know now, and you're time traveling or whatever you're doing.
So I go back knowing everything.
You know already what you expect out of me. It's like...
Didn't you say, would you even go on that second date? I said, yeah it's called morbid curiosity.
and then it led to some point where she said, getting a divorce.
No, I said, yeah. So no, I said the only way. I said you could eat anywhere you wanted to if you divorced me. You want to do that?
And I said there is no way I'm going to divorce you because it would be too painful. Because she's always saying, yeah, you can leave me. But you'll leave with 2 bullets, one in each knee.
Well, we were saying the only way out of this marriage is death. And so we thought, gosh, that sounds very Klingon. So this is where we were thinking about y'all. And you're like, well, it has to be an honorable death. And he says, well, yeah, shooting me in the kneecaps, leaving me to bleed out is not an honorable death. So I could not stop laughing, I guess, because that's just, I'm a sick person.
And then at some point, where do we get from there to...
Well, he's like, should we get some pain sticks?
Yeah, and
then you said...
The Klingon afterlife.
It has to be honorable, because you said it has to be honorable because you have to get to Costco, and I said, you have to get to Costco in the next life.
I could not...
You couldn't think of Stovacor.
And it was like, we just started laughing.
This is what happens when we drive around on the weekend talking. So I couldn't wait to tell you all this.
So she gets, well, first off, let me get back here for a second. So she gets mad at me for driving nowhere. But some of our best conversations is us being together when she's not reading on her phone. So,
and he told me the other day, Jody, he told me, I was like, I reminded him of like a female pinhead from Hellraiser. And I thought, once I stop laughing my butt off, I'm probably going to get offended.
No, because I forgot, there's more pretext there. There's more pretext.
I was laughing at something I shouldn't probably been laughing at.
It was very like, why are you laughing at that?
It's kind of like
so evil. I mean, you're like the female version of Pinhead.
People getting hurt.
Tear your soul apart. Yeah.
He made me watch the a clip of the original guy who played Pinhead. However many movies that was, and then like whoever this new reboot Pinhead was, I was like, ugh.
He looks.
They make him flesh colored. That ain't right.
No, with this new Pinhead,
the new Pinhead's flesh colored.
He's kind of fatter in the face, and he has this look that the picture. I guess it's the clickbait, because it's
Well,
click
original
here.
Pinhead was sort of white.
Well, whitish, and I guess
bloody nipples and
So anyway, that's some of our stories, and we're sticking to them. But
I'd have thought you would enjoy that anecdote.
You mentioned something about the baldness or something like that.
You were telling me you read an article about how bald men are more faithful in their relationships instead of because that nobody wants.
But it's true.
I was just joking. But
I'm thinking of her response on Facebook. I laughed so hard.
What was that response?
I don't stop. All you said was like, I can't stop laughing.
That's what I said. Oh my goodness!
So we continue back with the conversation.
Now back to you.
Yeah, back to you. So where do we want to pick up? I know at some point we would like to talk about the paranormal aspect of your productions.
Well, yeah. We are fortunate to have a location to shoot these things, and that location, an opera house. A very old opera house is built in 1892. It's an old place. It was restored about 20 years ago. It's in great shape now. And what happens is they go dark for the winter season, and that's when we move in with our production, and we build our sets on the stage under the lighting grid, and you close the main drape, and it's like a little studio back in there, and it's wonderful. So we'd always heard rumors that any decent theater is going to have a ghost, and this does, and his name is Henry, and turns out, I don't know, I guess we woke Henry up while we were in there because, my gosh, we had a lot of weird things happen. It was just Jody and I there one night, and we were working on the sets, and Jody kept stopping and looking over her shoulder, and I kept asking, what? And she would say, do you hear that? Hear what?
Hear the voices. Yeah, we were hearing voices.
Yeah, it was like a conversation, maybe beneath us in the space below the stage, but you couldn't make out what was being said, but it was definitely a conversation.
But to me, it sounded like something on the telephone. It sounded like a telephone conversation that was on speakerphone. That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, it was weird.
Strange.
Now, were you alone at the time, just y'all, or was the cast there, or what was going on?
No, it was just us. Nobody else inside the building.
Late at night.
Yeah.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
There's constantly this feeling of someone breathing down your neck or over your shoulder. It's all constantly. This feeling of, there's somebody here with me. I can't see them, but they're right here.
We had, you'd swear you'd turn the light off in one particular room, or the bathroom or the kitchen, and you'd come back and it's on again. The incident with the wardrobe.
Oh yeah, so we had one of those clothing racks on wheels.
Right.
You hang a bunch of costumes on it. Well, we had all of our fleet costumes hanging up on this thing, and the thing is, it's really, really old. It's like steel pipe construction, and it's almost impossible to push this thing around because the wheels are just stuck, and you almost have to pick it up to move it. And there's this, you come in the front door, and there's a long corridor ahead of you that goes straight to backstage. And there's a set of double doors back there. So you go through those double doors, and it's kind of a T-junction there where you go right and you go to the men's dressing room, and you go left and you go to the women's dressing room and the costume room. And so there's a space in front of the women's dressing room where I could set the wardrobe, and it's not blocking the double doors. So we closed everything up for the night, and I made the rounds through the building, make sure all the lights are off and everything is shut down before I lock the place up and go out the side door. And so I did all that, and I killed all the lights, and I start, backstage. I check the men's dressing room, lights are off, go to the ladies' dressing room, lights are off, kill the light in the corridor, go out through the double doors to make sure nothing's blocking them, and down the corridor, lock the front door, go out the side door after all the other lights have been turned off. And when we get just outside of town, and I went, oh, damn it, I left my phone in the dressing room. So I turn right around, and we come back, and I unlock the front door and go straight down the corridor and hit those double doors, and bang! There's something in front of the doors. So I push, and I finally get the door open, and I flip on the light, and the wardrobe has been pushed in front of the double doors, completely blocking them.
And you said it was hard to move.
In the building, I was the last one out, and so I pushed it back to where I wanted it. I turned the light off. I went and retrieved my phone, and then I made sure everything was closed up again and out the side door again. And we come back the next morning, and I go to open the double doors again so we can get into makeup, and bang! Wardrobe's in front of the doors again. And everyone's laughing because they're going, oh my God!
Do you ever feel scared or threatened or just creeped out?
No, it wasn't like that at all. It was just these weird, mischievous little things.
We found out about, other people having experiences there, and Tim and David Stetson, our lighting gurus, helped us out. They were more familiar with the history of the building, and they said that, the ghost called Henry. So we finally had a name to give it, and so whenever something was happening, if we got a camera glitch or if there was a weird electrical problem, we'd say,
they've disconnected.
You want to see if you can get them reconnected, Sir Lana? So anyway, we're talking to Jim and Jodi-Bray tonight. Apparently we got disconnected. Unfortunately, they're on, I guess, a phone. What's that?
I don't have anything to call.
Shrug. It didn't leave a number?
Wait, there we go.
Skype's
there we go.
going.
I can't make the sound stop. Sorry. There's no way to turn it off.
Well, I don't know what happened there. Where'd you lose us?
You were...
You said you found out the identity of maybe who's doing these things.
Maybe the same prankster ghost is doing the phone disconnection.
Oh.
I mean, you did say you left the phone there.
Well, yeah, I had left the phone there.
So maybe he's like
attached to the phone.
Maybe
might be talked about. Sorry.
Sorry, Henry.
Anyway, we found out this guy's name was Henry. It was supposedly some maintenance guy was working
at the clock tower in the building, and someone cut his blood up there. He fell and he cut his femoral artery and bled out up at the clock tower.
Ooh,
so
gruesome.
There was nothing, nothing scary about it. He was just playful, just letting us know, hey, he was there, and he liked what we were doing, and stuff like that. Oh yeah. The camera settings were constantly being messed with too, and we had no idea how that was happening.
Yeah, because no one would touch it, and we would be set on autofocus, and suddenly it would go to manual focus.
And then it was just taking stills.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. While we were shooting,
no way you could do that without having to switch.
Literally press a button to do it, but it kept snapping stills all during the shoot.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, strange.
A question I wanted to ask you is, with the paranormal activity you were having, or if we could call it that, did you have any sudden drainage of batteries out of the camera?
We were having to charge a fair amount, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Usually a battery, you can go all day and into the night on one charge.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, we'd have to stop at the tip of the day and recharge.
And what about...
we get to about lunch, pull the batteries, charge, they were almost drained.
And any kind of cold spots as you're walking around in the opera house, or
the theater, wherever,
the theater,
studio.
The theater.
Well, it would be hard to determine that because it is a drafty building,
mm-hmm.
and it was winter, and it's wintertime, so it would be hard to determine whether that was naturally occurring or otherwise.
Gotcha.
So that would be tough to determine for sure, but summertime would be the time to look for that, I think.
And did the cast have experiences that they reported back to you beyond yourself and Jody?
Oh, David Stouts, Carmichael. He said he went into the men's room and the sink was running full blast. Yep.
I know.
Water been turned off, running full blast.
I know personally from my experience when I was working in theater arts back in school, there were a couple times that I actually went to the stage when there was nobody in the auditorium, and it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up because it was just so spooky. Because it's fairly dark and you can't really see, and then you got these curtains and blocking things, and all I could think of is when I would go into there and just want to get out there. Did you ever get a feeling of, you kind of said that you didn't get a sense of it being, I guess, malevolent in any way, but did anybody else, in other words, I'm asking, was there an uncomfortable factor there?
There's one spot in the whole building that does that to me, and there's a flight of stairs that takes you from the main floor up to the main room, the house upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a landing. It goes up once, there's a big landing, and up again, and then you're on the main floor of the theater. And every time I stop on that landing or I step up onto that first flight of stairs, I get the willies, and I don't know why.
That might be where Henry died.
But it is directly beneath the clock tower. So, I don't know. It's odd.
Now, you spoke of paranormal activities at the theater, but have you experienced any of these kind of activities beyond the theater, or through your course of life? Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Oh yeah. Well, when I first got with Jody and moved in with her, yeah, we shacked. We're terrible.
We did too.
People. So we had this little upstairs apartment, and we experienced a number of really odd things in that apartment. We'd have some things thrown around. One night, we had a tabby cat, and the cat was sitting in the doorway to the kitchen, and suddenly the cat yowled, and it looked like it was being pressed down to the floor sideways, and then suddenly she just flew into the kitchen like she was kicked. like something chucked her into the kitchen, because she didn't do it by motion of her feet at all. She went sideways, like a rag doll, into the kitchen.
Oh, poor cat.
And so we both jumped up and we ran in there, and she was under the kitchen counter just looking all freaked out. And so we hollered and yelled at whatever it was. You know.
What you want us to leave our cats alone, all melodramatic.
Yeah, but it was upsetting. It really was, because, well, she was just, you know, it was terrible.
That actually sounds like Sir Lana sometimes when I wake her up in the morning.
Yeah. Claw his eyes out.
So one night we were laying in bed, and it felt like a big dog jumped up on the foot of the bed and laid down across our legs.
Ugh, no. Don't like it.
You know, what I did was I hefted my feet, you know, like you would to kick a dog off the bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just a good hefty nudge. And I felt the weight leave my feet, and we heard a thud on the floor. Like something had rolled off our feet and hit the floor. And I jumped up and I hit the light, and there was nothing there.
To find out that a friend of ours who used to live there owned a Great Dane.
Oh.
Who had passed away
In the house. So we're thinking maybe it was the Great Dane that came to say hi.
And didn't like our cat.
And didn't like our cat. And apparently, no, this dog did not care for cats.
No.
So there you go.
Wow.
So that was odd. Then we had the opportunity. Oh, it gets more interesting. We had the opportunity to move to the downstairs apartment, which was the whole bottom floor. We're talking about a plantation-sized house.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice.
It was a really nice house, and 12-foot ceilings and a fireplace in every room practically, and I mean it was wonderful, and a great big kitchen and all of that, and guest room, and lovely, just wonderful.
Guest room.
Well, we never used it for that, but it was there. You know, we could have used it. So had a big wraparound porch.
Go ahead.
Wonderful. And how could we say no? So we talked to the neighbor downstairs as she's moving out. We said, hey, listen, we've been wanting to ask you, have you ever had anything, unexplained or odd happen in your apartment? She said, oh, you mean like the television turning on and off by itself, doors slamming, footsteps? Oh, yeah. Why do you think I keep a lock on my bedroom door? And we're both thinking, like, that would stop anything.
At least give you peace of mind. I know. I was going to say, Sir Lana will probably throw me under the bus here because I have a blue light that I have for such of emergencies.
It's a Doctor Who light, but Solaris told us blue light's supposed to protect. Is a protecting light. But he just got a blue bulb because he has a Doctor Who lamp. So
well, no, a blue light is well. I could have put a red light in there because it allows you to still be able to focus.
Roxanne can't turn it on.
Roxanne,
if it's a red light.
Oh, I have had a discussion with you on this, Rolana, and I will not explode. and let me clarify that because
I prefer the blue light to the
because I tell her jokes
light.
and she refuses to laugh sometimes. And
I will laugh when it's funny. And when you say something funny, I will laugh. So I'm just waiting for the funny to happen.
Clearly, it was funny, and you're holding it in, and you're going to explode one day.
I don't think so.
Okay. Anyway, back to Jim and Jody. So.
So who is the weirdness attracted to? Is it attracted to Jody or is it attracted to Jim? Did it happen to you after you met her and moved in, or did you separately have weird encounters?
I've had.
He's had more than me. I think they're more attracted to him.
I've had more experiences than her, and I've had experiences prior to knowing Jody that I will not share on the air because they're pretty, and I don't want people listening to this and going, "Oh, well, he's just a nutcase." But I've had things that made me certainly question a number of things. I was left questioning a number of things when it was all said and done. So yeah, some real head scratcher kind of things. But but yeah, that downstairs apartment definitely had more action. Probably the easiest move in our life because we just had to take it down the front and back stairs. And coming down the back stairs, there's a back porch, a back flight of stairs from our apartment to the back porch. And so we did a lot of moving via those stairs. Well, every time I go through there was a little light on the back porch with a chain hanging from it and a string, which would tap me in the forehead every time I'd go through there. So I stopped a minute to put a hitch in the string so it wouldn't tap me in the head every time I go through. And while I'm standing there tying a hitch in the cord, I see peripherally what I thought was Jody making another trip upstairs. You know how you see someone kind of peripherally and they'll breeze by you, feel that sensation of them passing as they go.
Yeah.
And so I figured Jody's going, and I mean, I heard clunk, 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 clunk up the stairs real quick, and I thought, well, she's going for another load from the closet. And I turn around, and here she comes through the house. And I went, wait a minute. And she looks at me like, what? I said, didn't you just go up? She goes, no, I've been in the bedroom putting things away. And she looks at me like, really? And I look at her like, yeah, really? And we both race up the stairs. And, of course, there's nobody up there. But, damn it, I saw them and felt them go by me. So that was interesting. It's things like that make you go, wait a minute, that was weird. Am I imagining this? I don't know. You know, it was really strange. It was really, really strange.
Well, speaking of strange, we've gone to another 30 minutes, so we're at the bottom of the hour, Jim and Jody. So hold tight. Let's roll with this. And when we come back, more conversations with Jim and Jody and more fisticuffs with Space Boy and Sirlana.
Fisticuffs.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sirlana.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production.
You're listening to Space Boy Universe.
right, we're back. Oh, well, we're not technically back. We still got, hold on, 16 seconds.
Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Lana.
Now we're back. And, I'm getting used to the new programming, the commercials and stuff like that. And it's been nice because I just push a button and that whole thing while you're listening, Space Cadets, the audience, that is, it goes. And I don't have, before I was actually playing each individual clip before whatever. I guess long story short, you don't care.
Yeah.
I can hear Solana in my head.
Well, we want to get
they don't
Jim,
care.
We want to get Jim's story, and he said there was one more good one that had happened to him.
All right.
Encounters.
Well, it was, what was it? It was Jody and I and Kyle Kramer, who plays Taggart. It was Kyle, right?
Depends on what you're talking about.
Dang. Well, when I felt like someone tugged my arm and poked him in the chest.
No, that was Mark Strock.
Oh, yeah, it was Mark Strock. Okay, Mark Strock was our, he's our jack of all trades as well. He also used to work with Star Trek New Voyages, and we've kind of adopted him. And he's a great guy. So yeah, we were in the elevator, and the doors are about to open, and it felt like, you know how someone will kind of tug you on the sleeve or grab you by the inside of your elbow?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that, and at the same time, Mark said he felt like I poked him in the chest with my elbow, but clearly, the position we were both in, that wasn't possible. And I've never been touched like that before. So that kind of flipped me out a little bit because it was quite physical. And it was just a tug at my elbow. And Mark said it was kind of a poke at his chest.
So I'm trying to get your attention, huh?
Yeah. I thought that was very interesting. And we were both, I don't want to say we were shook up, but we were quite excited by all of that. We were like, oh, all right, that's weird. So yeah, we had our share of weirdness at the theater, for sure.
And yet you've managed to stay together after all these years.
Yeah, we've seen some crazy stuff, guys. We've seen some weird, crazy stuff.
I can imagine. So let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit. I would like to talk about the movie that you have recently seen twice already.
We're going to see it tomorrow.
And we're going to see it tomorrow. That is Ready Player One. Of course, we don't want to give spoilers away, but
especially to us.
But I've read the book, and I know that the movie's definitely a little bit different than the book. And Solana was reading something about how
I've read two types of reviews: people who are going insane over it, and other people who are like, "Why did they even bother with this?" So I have no stake in it. I have not read or listened to the book. I'm not familiar with any of it, so.
And then I got an opportunity to read an article where they're bashing the nerd culture that this movie is tailor-made to, bespoke, if you will. And it makes me mad when I hear stuff like that. But
as he's sitting here in a Rick and Morty shirt.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a Rick and Morty shirt. So your thoughts on what you've seen and how do you feel about it, and
just your impressions.
Your impressions without spoiling it, because River Song, spoilers, sweetie.
Well, in my opinion, this was made for us. Our generation.
Us too. They said, "Hey, let's make a movie for Jim and Jodi-Bray," and then they could go like 150 on them and their kids and some popcorn, and they'll be happy. And we went, "Okay, sure, that's nice, thank you." And on my birthday, it was awesome.
And well, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, they made it for us.
It felt like they made it just for us. We enjoyed the hell out of it twice, and probably the third time at some point. But this thing, guys, is so dense with pop culture reference and Easter eggs and stuff that it's going to take several viewings. I'm telling you right now to catch everything.
Well, I know I've seen.
It is just
I was going to say, I've seen some of the YouTube Easter egg things associated with the trailers alone. And, just tons of stuff. I know I've read the book, too, as well. And in the book, it's just like, it's definitely a love letter back to a time when, when you were younger, teenagers, maybe somebody a little bit older than me, but, it's got the great music of the past. It's got the great, movies associated from the past. And what's wrong with having a movie that's tailor-made to a certain generation? I know when I was younger, I really didn't give a crap about the show called 30-something. When I reached that age, then it was a different story. But, that wasn't a show for me. And I like to think that this movie that's been written is something worthwhile and really is something special. And obviously, y'all have had to go see it twice, and now you're thinking about a third time.
We are? I mean, when it comes out as a rental,
when it comes out,
we'll watch it yet again.
There's so much to see. It's overload of visual stimulus. You're going to want to.
Your head's going to spin. Seriously.
If you own it or you rent it, you're going to be doing one of these things where you're doing a slow-mo on each frame because there's so much to miss. Really.
I mean, we spotted stuff on the second viewing that we hadn't noticed in the first.
Mm-hmm.
There are all kinds of great little things. It's just right there, the posters on the wall and stuff to make you go, aha! Look at that! Oh my God! Vote, Gold Wilson for mayor. Just all kinds of.
Yeah, it was fun.
Neither of us had read the book, so we went in completely ignorant to whatever the book might contain. We just took it at face value and enjoyed the living daylights out of it.
I just found the complete Easter egg guide online.
To the movie to the trailer?
To the movie.
Because I know the trailers were pretty extensive.
There's 100 of them.
I think there's probably more than that. Yeah.
There are. I saw somebody say there's like 160 or something like that.
At least.
It's insane. There's so much.
Like I said, it's so dense and this stuff that it would take multiple viewings to catch everything.
All I can say is I'm glad that we gave both of our kids a healthy dose of 80s history, because I think if they hadn't had that, they would have completely not gotten a lot of what was in this film.
Really?
But they picked up on a lot of it. Yeah.
A lot of it. Yeah. And they were just thrilled.
Yeah.
But there's modern stuff, too, in there.
What?
There's some modern stuff like, Halo references and StarCraft and...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that stuff is in there, too. But there's stuff for everybody. But the thing is, there's some wonderful surprises that crop up through the course of the film that just make you go, "Oh, that is so cool!"
What do you reckon the logistics were for getting the rights to show such a diverse? Like, you've got the DeLorean and you got Speed Racer, and like, well, that company owns the rights to this property, and that company owns the right to the Batman, and can you imagine that must have been a logistical nightmare to get around, like, well, you better pay us if you're going to show that,
But you know what? When Steven Spielberg asks you if he can borrow a couple of characters, I'm going to quote, what's his name from Ghostbusters? Winston Zeddemore. You say yes,
Well, I was going to quickly point out is that this kind of reminds me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, when you had all the characters from Disney and then Warner Brother cartoons, and it was just that same thing. If there was a will to do it, then I didn't see there being a problem. But it speaks volumes that Spielberg is just still capable of bringing things together to create such a blockbuster.
Oh yeah.
Well, this thing's off the chain. I mean, it's just
insane.
It's crazy good, and just it's just a ride, and it is so fun, and the central thing of the story, the whole moral that it encapsulates is such a beautiful thing, because it just buttons everything very end in such a way that you go, yeah, excellent point, thank you.
Now, I've heard rumors that they've already decided to do a part 2. Do you see where they could continue from that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do anything in the Oasis. Why not? You know?
Yeah, in the Oasis.
Mm-hmm. I want to live in the Oasis.
I'm looking at the Easter eggs right now, and I'm thinking about my husband here. I'm like, oh, he's going to go insane.
I was going to say, make it PG.
It's going to go insane.
Because you weren't being PG earlier.
No. Well, I wasn't on the freaking air earlier. It was just you and me.
What?
And our cell phones listening. So
no, I was talking about Blue Star Ointment.
Well, that's a reference that was on TV. I mean, my goodness. During the primetime hours, we all knew about Blue Star Ointment. I couldn't, as a kid, I didn't know what ringworm, psoriasis, tetter, or jock itch was. So, I mean, still. We knew about it.
See how these things deteriorate real quick. But can you mention something from the movie over there that you see out of that Easter egg list?
Monty Python's Holy Hand Grenade Easter egg.
Yep.
Beetlejuice cameo. A Christopher Reeve Superman reference.
I think they even had the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Lots of Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They've got the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Conan, lots of Schwarzenegger stuff. There's a Devo hat.
The Battletoads.
Yep.
There's some aliens references and cameo from props and ships and things.
Oh yeah.
Judge Dredd pistols.
You're going to the movie for yourself by looking at all that, Sirlana. You know.
Oh, I'm not invested in this. I'm just going get some candy and some popcorn and a drink.
And then from my angle, it's kind of like I could care less that I've already read a lot and seen some of this YouTube stuff because like I said, once I read the novel, I was like, holy smokes, I cannot wait for this to be out in a movie and everything. And it was like, and then it was kind of sad because Gene Wilder had to slow down and pronounce his name because of the shows.
Yeah, your problem you have.
I have the Gene Hackman syndrome, and that could be explained by listening to episodes of SBU. But anyway, so I've read the book, and it's just been awesome and I couldn't put it down for a minute to get through that because it was so jam packed with pulp culture references of when I was a kid, and knowing that they were going to make the movie, it was like, man, I can't wait. And then they started doing the trailer stuff, and nothing's really kind of captured my attention.
You've gone full fanboy over this.
In fact, I have. Compared to Star Wars, it's
Star Wars can let you down now.
I do feel a little let down from Star Wars, and after watching The Last Jedi, and I'm hoping that what's his name, J.J. Abrams can redeem the franchise back.
I'm no longer invested in Star Wars.
So anyway. But so any other, since I brought up Star Wars, any other cool things that you're watching out there, or you've seen, or you're binge watching, or not binge watching, or you could care less about?
There's this new show on A&E called The Terror, and that's really got my attention.
Now, is that about the sailors that are like
on AMC? It's called The Terror.
Uh-huh.
It's a story of these ships.
It's not about our daughter.
No. They recall this. It's based on kind of a true story. These two ships that tried to get through the Arctic, and they're both sailing vessels,
mm-hmm.
and they get stuck up there. They get locked in the ice, and they're up there for over a year.
Whoa.
And what they experience, and things get a little out of control. And just the first 2 hours I saw last week, whoa! So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. It really is interesting, and it's really well done.
I've seen the previews for that. It does look pretty tight.
Yeah, it's intense, and it's slowly building. You got to stay with it, but yeah, it's quite good. Walking Dead, keeping up with that.
I stopped watching Walking Dead. I stopped before last season.
I've never watched it.
Well, you know, that's interesting. I was going to say real quick, Jody, it's interesting you bring The Walking Dead up because this is the first season. I watched the first episode, and I have not watched a single episode since. And I don't know what it is that it just all of a sudden I hit this brick wall. It has nothing to do with Serlana. She's laughing over there like she put some voodoo hex.
No, I'm laughing because you like the zombie genre.
I do.
You've loved The Walking Dead previously.
Mm-hmm.
You like zombie movies. Everything zombie. I find zombies to be boring and predictable. I don't care about watching the movies. I've never seen The Walking Dead. I will never see The Walking Dead. I'm not interested yet. I'm the one who has zombie dreams.
Oh, I don't have any kind of zombie dreams.
I dream about zombie apocalypses, and I don't know why.
Well, Serlana, you understand that the title of the show isn't about the zombies. It's about the survivors. And that's really what the whole show is about.
I thought it was about working in higher ed, like where I work.
I'm serious. You're losing her, Jody. She's starting to fall her nails.
Yes, I know that it's about the drama of trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world where all the resources are gone because there's not enough people to make them and create them.
Right.
And it's about that. And I find that to be boring. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. I'm like you, Space Boy. I hit a brick wall. It was emotionally draining.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't handle what Negan was doing, I think, and what Rick was going through.
Apocalypse will be emotionally draining.
Yeah, but I don't know. It got to a point where I was like, I can't take this anymore. I can't deal.
Yeah.
And then I found out what Carl, and I'm like, okay, I'm really ticked off at you people now. I just refuse to watch. Period.
I'm determined to push through.
Yeah.
I know I'm at some point I'm going to watch this season, but I just don't know when. I know Fear of the Walking Dead's about to start up because what I heard it was going to like pick up right when Walking Dead ends, and I've been invested in that show, and that show has kind of changed dramatically with a lot of characters since their last season.
Here's my question about that world of Walking Dead, Fear of Walking Dead. Okay, so it happens, whatever virus, however people are becoming zombies, it happens. So over time, you've got, surely these zombies begin to deteriorate and they can't function and move anymore.
You're right, it absolutely.
But are there enough people dying that are alive to become zombies that refreshes the zombie population so it seems like it's endless, or eventually everybody will be either dead or undead?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, I've read some things about this, and you're absolutely right. The main hardcore of the zombie population, if you will, is deteriorating to a point where they're just going to just fall apart and, flesh will decay and then blow dust in the wind kind of situation. But we're all still infected, supposedly, in this universe.
Like, how many people are alive to die to be undead?
If you die in the Walking Dead universe, you need to be
dead.
You have to stab in the brain area to make sure that you're dead completely. Because if you don't, then you're going to just die. You could die of natural causes, and you'll come back as the undead in that universe. And so
now
you
I
have
think
that.
it's fascinating. I have not watched that show, but I have seen people play the game Walking Dead, which seems different-ish from the TV series, from what I can tell. That was also emotional. I saw PewDiePie cry at the end of the first one. They have zombie migrations, like a big cluster of zombies will just start moving through an area, and you got to run.
Yeah, they're called herds. Yeah.
Well, they showed that in the show too, as well. In fact, when they were
It's weird.
when Rick and the gang was heading to Washington, of all things, they couldn't get to Washington because
They already have plenty of zombies.
there was
there.
a high concentration of zombies, and when they went over this hill, they got a big whiff of the dead,
Like,
and it was like overwhelming kind of.
I wonder if
smell.
that's what DC smells like anyway.
Well, you're probably right. With all those politicians up there. So
Can I ask them a quick question?
Go ahead. a free country.
I'm still scrolling through the Easter eggs here, and one of the Easter eggs says number 9 is the Kroll. I'm not sure how to pronounce this. I guess it's the blade. The Kroll Easter egg. I guess it's the Glaive. You'll know what that is.
The glaive.
The glaive.
It's called the glaive.
I can't remember seeing Kroll, the movie. I'm kind of familiar with it because I lived through the 80s. But I wanted to ask you, did you know there are going to be 2 riff tracks this summer, one in June and one in August, and the one in August is going to be Kroll?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So there.
Oh, we're there. Sign us up.
So they just went through their Kickstarter to get money to fund. They're going to re-riff Space Mutiny. Dear God, why? The first one was a classic. They should just leave that on. You know, all the names of David Ryder. That they'll never top that. You know, never. So yes, there. If you type in the many names of David Ryder in Google, there'll be a list of all the names they called him on screen. And that whole thing about the continuity of editing is like, hey, that girl's dead. What's she doing back in this scene?
Blank fake face.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Yeah, Big McLarge was my favorite one. But they're going to do Kroll in August. And anytime you got an 80s movie in front of you, it's like shooting a fish in a barrel. So.
Well, I know that.
I think.
Go ahead.
I always thought that Space Boy should change his name to Blast Hard Cheese.
Yes. We put our faith in Blast Hard Cheese.
There is a David Ryder name generator.
Yes.
No. Oh, punch that up.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, pull that up.
If you Google it, you start putting in the word many names of D.A. and it comes right up. David Ryder.
Yeah, but she found a name generator that'll randomly...
The 9 billion names of David Ryder.
Any more names? Yeah, I think my favorite is Blast Hard Cheese.
Slab Bulkhead was one of mine. Bolt Vanderhuge. Thick McRunfast. That was the one I liked. Thick McRunfast.
Well, hey, we're at the top of the hour, y'all. So let's hold tight here. And as we head into break, they'll be going back and forth over the different name-generating names here. But you're listening to SBU. Tonight's guest is Jim-and-Jodi-Bray. And I'm Spaceboy, and she's Serlana over there, I hope. And we'll be back after this.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Serlana.
Greetings, Space Cadets. Let's see what's in the sky tonight in the Spaceboy Universe. Tonight, in the eastern sky, we have Spaceboy Universe rising above the horizon in glorious splendor. And in the west, we can see Serlanus Majoris, which is visible at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, just below the K28 belt. So keep your eyes on the sky and listen to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
All right, I am guest wrangling behind the scenes so that we can come back from our break. And tonight's guest is Jim-and-Jodi-Bray. And Sir Lana, I guess there was a question?
I think we've got, somebody we haven't seen in a while is in the chat, and he or she wants to know, what is the Outer Rim, for those who do not know?
You mean they don't know? Well, we haven't done our due diligence, apparently. The Outer Rim is going to be an anthology web series, which you'll be able to see on YouTube and hopefully Vimeo as well. And since we won't get sued by anybody, we can sell Blu-rays, DVDs, whatnot, and so forth. So
there'll be somebody that's sued.
There
always is.
There's always someone. So, but yeah, it's a science fiction anthology web series, and that's all I can tell you right now. Go to the Facebook page and have a look. The website's currently under reconstruction because we had to tear it all down when we were no longer a Star Trek production.
Mm-hmm.
No, pardon our dust, but we're having to redo everything. But we do have a Facebook presence, and that's Explore the Outer Rim at Facebook.com.
Mm-hmm.
So, stupid out there. And, in fact, I put up a billboard tonight that said, join us on Spaceboy Universe. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Hopefully that clears that up for a person who did not know.
I can fill in more blanks, but I feel like that's a good start.
Sometimes the basic says it all.
Exciting new web series.
Oh, he didn't tell you what. So we're going to see Ready Player One tomorrow, and the theater that's closest to us is in a mall, but it's all assigned seating. So when you buy your ticket online, you get a map of, the room, and you pick your seats that are available. Tell them what you did, this glorious, wonderful thing he did for me.
Well, when we go to the theater, Sir Lana has...
I don't like other people.
Well,
so...
Do you want me to tell the story?
Yeah, that's
I'll
basically...
tell the story if you want me to tell the story. If not, I'll let you tell the story. Anyway, so... so you've gone through for punching to slapness. Okay, so anyway, so Sir Lana has a thing where she doesn't like to sit by people, which, I can understand. And so what I did was, when I booked the tickets, I bought 3 seats. So nobody has to sit by her.
Yay! And I have a place to put chicken purse.
And so she has a place to put chicken purse so it gets stolen.
Oh, she won't get stolen.
So
that's why I sit on the end of the row. One time, some guy tried to pick my pocket sitting right next to me. He's doing a lousy job. And I just leaned over and I said, you can move your hand or you can bleed. So he moved away from me, which was a very smart idea on his part. So.
Now, did you do the 3D or did you do the regular?
I don't
do 3D.
I'm not a big fan of 3D. The only
works for me.
The only people that have managed to do a 3D that's even halfway convincing is Disney,
mm-hmm.
and I'm talking parks.
Yeah.
So, now there's something we did that was amazing. So we took a family vacation this past summer,
mm-hmm.
and we enjoyed 3 days at the Disney theme parks. And if you haven't been to Animal Kingdom, you absolutely must go. Because they've got an entire section of Animal Kingdom that is nothing but Avatar.
Oh.
So you go to Planet Pandora, and you can actually ride a banshee.
Ooh.
I've never seen that movie, so I don't know what that means.
Oh my goodness!
It's cool.
It's so cool.
He might know. He might have actually seen it. You've seen Avatar?
Yeah, I've seen Avatar.
He's seen most
and in
things.
fact, I guess, isn't James Cameron producing...
Maybe 2 or 3 more?
A trilogy? So 3 more movies?
Is that the one about the Smurfs that live on another planet?
Yeah, if you have to wrap your mind around it, yes, it's a bunch of Smurfs, and the evil Gargamel is coming from outer space to try to kill the evil Smurfs.
That.
Dance with wolves in space, Solana. That's basically the story. Dances with wolves in space.
Really?
That's Pocahontas.
Yes. Without Kevin Costner. Yeah.
Thank God.
He's always got nice things.
I'm sure he has. Yes, but I'm the 3,000th most crushed upon.
37,000th.
37,000.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get you those statistics.
Another guy. Right.
Yeah.
So.
You're like 40th or something.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's weird.
I had
no idea.
I didn't know that there's a thing that you can look that up on. That's pretty cool. But hey, it's the internet.
You know, well, you can find anything on the internet. If you want to see llamas wearing tutus, I'm sure that you can find it.
Hello, young man. Our weirdo son just entered. Sounding like he's being so. I don't know. Hey, Ethan, what did you think of Ready Player One? Watch your language. I don't know. You liked it.
Go away then.
I'm just kidding.
From the mouth of babes.
Space Boy and Sir Lana, we're on the air right now.
It was awesome.
And this is the point where Solana will say, this is the reason why, one, we don't have children, and two, why they should be locked in a closet with the, like Harry Potter. And
it sounds bad when you say it.
Well, how do you say it? It's not all sugar plums and tooth fairies.
You and I are blessed to not have children. Other people can have them. That's fine. Keep them off my lawn and out of my house. That's cool.
And see, what she doesn't tell you is that it's bad enough I'm married to you. You're like the only kid I need in this whole relationship.
Holy crap, you're a lot of work. You want to talk about high maintenance. A lot of emotional support.
Boy, and now we go back to the conversation. Now knowing what you know now and you go back in time, would you even go on that second date?
Yeah, I would have to warn you.
Warn me?
Yeah.
That's all. Nervous. Yeah.
What do you think about the idea that there's going to be a Bill and Ted 3? Or do you care?
There's so many unanswered questions.
Yeah, is that necessary? I mean, is that really necessary? I don't think it is.
I like the picture of the guys together from Entertainment Magazine. That's cute. So you're not going to go see a movie from the TV show Knight Rider, starring John Cena.
Whoa, wait. I haven't heard about this, but John Cena as...
Exclusive. John Cena says Knight Rider reboot script is amazing.
Okay, now I had seen that he's going to do Duke Nukem.
I love Duke Nukem.
What?
Language. Duke Nukem is going to be a film?
Starring John Cena, and I had wasted so much of my early 20s playing Doom and Duke Nukem and Redneck Rampage because I didn't have a life.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh God! I mean, I love The Rock, but what they did with Doom was just awful. That
was bad. That was pretty awful. But with
see what you guys.
Duke Nukem has aliens in like what? Hogs, alien pigs and hogs and strippers. So they can make it interesting.
See, did we start something here?
Are y'all in turmoil? Are y'all okay over there?
Every time I think about that particular movie,
you become violent. I know. Yeah, they ruined it.
He has the same reaction with puns. It's funny.
Yes. Yes, he becomes violent. Poor kid. He's an emotional basket case.
Well, the Doom movie was awful. They shouldn't even bothered. Although,
what, the second one or
Doom, just the movie from the adapting the movie from the game.
Oh, Doom. Talking about Doom with an M.
Yeah.
The Spice is the Life is what I'm talking about.
Not Dune. I don't know anything about Dune. I never really saw it, and I don't care.
Your man Patrick's. I was
What?
I was going to call Patrick Patrick Stewart. Patrick Spore. Oh my goodness!
I hope he's flattered.
I hope he's listening on that one. You know, a good friend of the show, Patrick Spore. I almost called him. Well, I almost referred to him as Patrick Stewart. Anyway,
you've confused yourself over the top here.
Yes, it's the Gene Hackman syndrome kicking in right now.
Well, what do you think? What do you guys think about this? There's a theory out there that says the Halliday from Ready Player One is actually George Lucas, or based on
what? Based on George Lucas,
or it could be. You know, they're referencing George Lucas.
Maybe.
I don't see it.
Insofar as
it might be an amalgam of several different.
Yeah, insofar as he kind of signed his life away.
Yeah, he does look like Peter Mayhew.
Yeah, he does.
Not at all. Yeah, we talked about those.
Well,
I see George Lucas. I see Bill Gates. I see Steve Jobs. I see all those, brilliant minds
without the arrogance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta admit, he was
rather
egotistical at times.
When I was reading the book, he seemed like Steve Jobs, and Hathaway was more like a Wozniak, like the actual creator of a lot of that.
Yeah, and Wozniak is kind of like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
This
definitely like typical nerd.
Typical nerd from the Atari era.
I don't really. I mean, I could wait and see this movie, rent it when he buys it on Amazon. But he's too excited to go see it. I could even wait to see Infinity War when he buys it on Amazon.
Go see it.
All these other things, but I will be grabbing him by the hand and dragging him to Deadpool 2. That is the one thing I care about.
She makes it sound like I don't want to go see Deadpool.
No, I mean, just saying.
I'm looking forward to that movie
enthused.
too. So, we'll definitely go.
It's just going to be nuts.
Yep.
Between that and Infinity War, I can hardly wait.
That looks good. It looks good.
I wonder how they're going to kill Captain America.
Don't say that.
See, I watch that now. I'm not going to watch it.
You just ruined it. See what you did?
No.
Okay.
I've heard rumors.
Okay, first off, here's the thing. With the next, we're heading to the end of a chapter for Tony Stark, Thor, and Captain America. There's no doubt in that. Their characters are going to be defined differently, much differently than it is now after the Infinity Wars, because they're.
And you told me Guardians will be done.
Guardians got
soon.
one more movie under their belt. And then you've got, according to the bigwigs, there's going to be 20 more stories from here on out. Now, that means movies like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, definitely. And then you've got to keep in mind the acquisition of the Fox movies, which include X-Men, includes Fantastic Four. And these characters will be somehow incorporated into the MCU. Also, we could see the Silver Surfer come back in some way, because I know that they would love to get their hands on him to bring him into the MCU in some way. So it's been great having the beginning. We're kind of like in the middle right now, where we're going to start to see people like Captain Marvel come out, and that will be played out. So, I mean, the future of MCU is looking very bright in as far as new characters and new people coming down the pipe. And it's just an inevitability. this whole thing, a lot of people think the MCU started with the Hulk, which kind of did, but really it started with Iron Man. And
I thought it was Blade.
No, Blade is not a part of this equation, even though he should be a part of it. But Tony Stark's character is what really started the MCU, and he's been at it since I can't even remember how long. 2008 at least,
maybe.
And so he's been playing this character for over 10 years, and not to mention that Robert Downey Jr. is making money like nobody's business out of all this, off the back end. And
right, it really did.
Mm-hmm. So it's time. I'm not telling them it's time to go, but it is their time to go. And because there are so many more characters that are out there that haven't been introduced and are waiting on the sidelines that are great characters that we've grown to love. The X-Men, you can just take your pick out of that. Who's going to play the next Wolverine? Out of that, I'd love to see another Fantastic Four movie done right instead of just done so that they could keep the rights to it. So the possibilities are endless with the Marvel Universe. And when it's all said and done, it's like going to be a rich history of storytelling that span over many years.
Absolutely. I would just love to see the Fantastic Four done right for a change, because this last Fantastic Four that was done, I think Roger Corman's version was probably better.
Oh, yeah.
So, good grief. This is awful.
And that's kind of the same way with Spider-Man, is that, they've kept it, movies active the way they have so that they can retain the rights to it. And I think Sony did a wonderful job working with Marvel Pictures and allowing them to use that property and incorporate it. And you've seen with Homecoming, it was a great movie.
That was a good movie.
They didn't have to go back to the beginning and tell the Spider-Man.
It was more to bring him into the MCU.
Mm-hmm. It already established him to have powers and everything, and we didn't have to have a backstory on it. And the next movie should be pretty good too, because the next Spider-Man movie takes place right after right after the war. The
Civil War?
Affinity. Gone blank. The next movie that's coming out for the Avengers. War? Yeah, Infinity War. Why are you giving me that crazy look like I'm like nuts or something?
Nuts.
It's hard enough to keep all this in play in my head, and then anyway, so but yeah, so it's good stuff coming down the pipe, and of course not all of them can be winners, because Inhumans was not very successful, but I think at first they go ahead.
That did poorly, didn't it? And I mean, what I saw, Lockjaw looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand why it tanked. I never got a chance to watch it, but everything I heard about it was awful.
Oh, yeah. It was, originally interesting to know about that. Vin Diesel was supposed to be in that, and it was supposed to be a movie and a part of the bigger Marvel Universe movie package thing, and Disney pulled it and decided to make it a kind of a television series like the other show that's out there that I just went blank on, Agents of Shields.
Yeah.
It's getting late and I'm getting discombobulated. But anyway, long story short is that particular show, Inhumans, just did not do well, and it's unfortunate. But it just goes to show you that. Even the MCU can make a stinker once in a while, just like the DC universe, which has been totally in shambles.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Justice League, but to force it to fit inside of a 2-hour time span, I think is what hurt it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the conversations I've had with Solana about that is that, DC had an opportunity to do this a while back, even before MCU started getting up and started. I don't know about you, but as a kid, I used to love watching Justice League on Saturday morning cartoons in the 70s, and I always dreamt of a movie with all these people. And it was like, that was probably, people wanted that more than even thinking of Marvel Universe for that matter at the time. And so they had an opportunity. And then when they saw what Marvel was doing, they started to rush and like try to just get this, get it done, and they catch up and then give everybody what they want. And I think it suffered because this rolling downhill to get everything done fast enough.
They reigned supreme on TV with Batman and Wonder Woman. And
yeah, I mean, who doesn't love Batman? And, as a kid, I loved Christopher Reeve as Superman.
And the girl with the golden brassiere.
I mean, as a young man, who didn't love
Linda Carter?
Linda Carter, so a lot of good stuff from the DC universe.
Even my dad watched that show.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, Marvel, has just shown how to put a powerhouse together when it comes to these comic books to movies. And DC has had an opportunity to be that same powerhouse, but they failed because they started late and then they tried to rush everything and then to put this together. But now that doesn't say that, like, for example, I've seen some stuff with Aquaman, which they've made a great decision on that, and it looks pretty like it's going to be fantastic.
Nice to look at, too.
Well, he's not too bad. I used to love watching him in Stargate Atlantis.
I like how they took. He already had this tattoo, a partial tattoo, and they looked at it and they said, "Well, we're just going to extend that on both your arms and make it kind of look like scales." Mm-hmm. From what he already had. And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah. And it worked. It worked.
So, it's sad for DC. Hopefully we can salvage some of the stuff out of
Wonder Woman, though, was a great movie.
That was a good movie, and I'm looking forward to part 2.
And I don't know if it's because a woman directed it or what, or because it was focused on a woman. I don't know if that was it or not.
I think that has a whole lot to do with it.
Maybe. I just thought it was really done well, and I like Gal Gadot. She's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I had my reservations at first about her,
before,
and
but she had actual military training.
Yeah. When they first said who was going to play Wonder Woman, I didn't get it. I was like, her? What? I don't know. Wait, no. I kept thinking like Lucy Lawless, but no. It was a good choice. Mm-hmm. I retract my statement.
Yeah, and like I was saying, is that I had my reservations. I didn't think that she was going to make a good Wonder Woman, and she totally blew my expectations away. And even her theme music is just, when you start hearing it, it starts ramps up. And Sirlana freaks out too, she's going to jump out of the seat and throw popcorn at the screen, and
I was ready to go beat up people.
And she goes into this America, and and so
they said they need to get her to America, maybe in the 80s, because she's Wonder Woman made here, so.
I think the next movie will put her here, and it'll be great to see the second movie. And that's a movie that, I'm like Fry, take my money.
Can they get rid of that Batman, put somebody less anemic in there?
Well, the thing you said about, it's interesting you bring up Batman, because I think Batflack is on his way out. and I think that they're hiring somebody else to play Batman. I think, yeah.
Batman's gone an interesting role. He's gone from inception of this crime fighter to this goofy, laughing with Ronan Martin, goofy thing, to this really strange portrayal of this comic book on the screen, then to the Dark Knight. And then he's now a whiny little brat with money. I don't get it.
Well, I guess DC should have taken a page out of where Ben Affleck has been before. He played Daredevil, and we know how successful that movie was with Jennifer Gardner.
He's just box office poison. Let's just admit it.
I think that that tread on that tire is getting old for him, and it's sad that I mean, where a lot of people were like, when they found out Ben Affleck was playing Batman, I think what happened is that you had Christian Bale play Batman, and he did a really great job as far as dramatic Batman is concerned. I enjoyed his portrayal of Batman.
I believe that he brings the drama, because I think he is full of drama anyway.
And I read. Go ahead.
Well, you know what I'd like to see is I'd like to see them do Batman Beyond.
Yes, I was about to bring that up.
Bring back to play old Batman.
Yes. I would love to see Michael Keaton reprise that role and be a part of that. I mean, he's at the right age. It's the right time.
I'd rather see him do Beetlejuice.
And, well, I'd like to see him do that too, but the Batman Beyond would be just an awesome way for DC to, like, reclaim some glory. And, I agree with you, Jim. That would make a great show or great movie.
There might be a Beetlejuice musical coming.
Yes.
Oh.
Not that I want to see it.
No.
You shall not pass.
That was a good movie, though.
There are some things like Cheetos Rice Krispie treats should not be made.
Yeah, I saw that. What is up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. There are certain things that should not be made, and that's another one right there. Now, Beetlejuice. No.
Going to be off Danny Elfman music.
All right. So Jim and Jody singing us into break next. So hold tight, everybody, as we zap out of the universe and go into hyperspace. And you're listening to the SBU. I'm Spaceboy, and Solana's over there, I guess. And we're talking to Jim and Jodi-Bray. So don't go anywhere.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Solana.
Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
All right, we're back, and I guess during the break, Solana was talking about how top 10.
I found
races.
a top 15. A top 15 Star Trek races ranked from weakest to strongest, and the weakest was the Xindi from Enterprise, and the strongest was, of course, the Q because they're omnipotent.
So,
and of course, you've got the Vulcans and the Cardassians.
I guess so.
There.
The Kazon are a little bit more powerful than the Xindi.
They weren't even listed.
Oh, because I would say
because they have bad perms.
Well,
no one wants to look at them.
I would be mad too if I had a haircut like them.
It's like they went to get their hair done and they left the foils in and they never took them out.
And so they were Klingons with bad haircuts.
Oh, yeah.
The Kazon from Voyager.
They were just annoying as heck. I was so glad when season 1 and 2 were over in Voyager. But would you watch Walking Dead spin-offs?
Well, I know Jody has mentioned you watched the Fear of the Walking Dead, right, Jody?
I watched like 1 or 2 episodes and I kind of lost me. I lost interest.
Well, there's about something else.
I can't be that emotionally involved in more than one show at a time. People are trying to get me to watch Game of Thrones, and I'm just like, my brain's tired. I can't handle it.
Well, you know,
I'm old. I can't.
I'm kind of like you, Jody, in the sense that, you know, when a show's been on, it's like, it usually happens like this. There's a show that might come on, right? And it's like really good, and then you figure out, okay, what network is it on? Is it on NBC? Or, you know,
how close is it to cancellation?
Yeah, is it going to get canceled? Because I ain't going down the sci-fi road again, especially after Stargate Universe. But anyway,
Sci-Fi Channel burned him.
Yeah, they really burnt me. So anyway, so that's how I look at it. And then you get a TV show like, okay, it's made in the 2nd season, 3rd season. All right, that looks good. And like, for example, the one with James Spader currently he's in, where he plays. What's the name of that one? Blacklist. I thought that show looks pretty good, so I kind of started watching it and I stopped because it's on NBC. And so it's kind of in its 3rd or 4th season now, so I might go back and revisit that. So
I understand what she's saying, though.
And then you got a show like Game of Thrones.
Thrones.
You know what I'm saying. The point, let's just not squabble over the things here. But anyway, so I'm waiting for it to finish so I can binge watch the whole thing and not have to go, you know, wait miserably for what's his name to pound out a new season. So that's kind of how I look at movies and TV shows, mostly TV shows.
Well, like I said, you don't want to get involved in too many of them that are kind of like heavy, you know, especially if it's drama or something, and get emotionally involved because it takes a lot and it takes a lot of focus. So I think that's why I don't watch a lot of stuff with you that's, you know,
heavy?
Involved. The last thing I was like really just on top of enthused was, of course, Stranger Things, and then Better Call Saul. But there's like 2-year gaps between seasons, so I'm like, well, screw that.
You know, I was really surprised you got into. Speaking of Better Call Saul, how you got into Breaking Bad.
It was weird. It was weird. I just saw you watching it as I passed through the living room. And then when you told me the premise of it, I'm like, that is an interesting premise. A guy has cancer, but he's kind of a genius. He's good with chemistry. He needs to make some money. Why not make some quality crystal meth and get some money on the side? And when he gets what he needs, he'll stop. Ha-ha. So I ended up watching the whole dang thing.
What was that, Jody?
Yeah, you know, and he's got money to take care of his family after he died. You know, that was the whole reason he did it.
And he couldn't stop
because he couldn't stop. Yeah.
That's why they named that one episode Ozymandias, because of that poem. It's based on like, you know, this ego is like, look upon my mighty works and tremble, and the only thing that's left of that statue was the feet.
Well, he says that he did it for himself.
He's like, yeah, I did it because it made him feel like a badass, you know. But yeah. But that was interesting, and that's the kind of thing I could only watch that show once, and then like 20 years would need to go by before I could look at it again if I could forget what everything happened. So I was really taken with Better Call Saul. Now that's more my speed. It's more.
Me too.
And the way they left it hanging this last
my
season.
God.
Oh my God!
His brother Chuck. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I'm really looking forward to, and some of my friends are like, bleh, but I'm looking forward to the 15th of, well, what time is it now? Of this month, because Lost in Space is going to drop on Netflix.
Oh yes.
They're going to drop the whole season at once.
Yeah.
Holy crap, Sir Lana, did you just eat a lemon or something over there?
What?
You had this look when he said Lost in Space, and
I was just like,
I thought your face was going to just sunk in.
I thought it was going to be something amazing. Like, oh.
No, I'm like you, Jim. I saw the preview to that, and I'm like, oh, yes, Parker Posey's in it, and, you know.
You'll be busy. I know where you are.
It looks good. I'm hoping they're borrowing from, like, the Fractured Time thing that they kind of did with the movie. The robot looks interesting.
More book reading for me.
They had a female Dr. Smith.
That's interesting.
And not a male Dr. Smith.
I never liked him. The original.
The original one?
The original one on TV.
Like the robot is not from their ship that they find him there. That's what it's looking like in the previews, that he's not from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
that's interesting.
I think it'll be a fresh take on the series, and I think it's going to do good for Netflix. And I'm super jazzed for that one. So I got your back on this one, Jim.
I'm happy for you both.
But, all right, well, we'll have to binge it together, and the women can laugh at us. How about that?
That was my Star Trek, and when I was little, Star Trek was in syndication, and I just could not get into it because I was little, and it was too cerebral for me to understand. Space, that was my speed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just different. I'm not interested. I'm sorry. A female Dr. Smith, that's not going to work for me. Sorry.
I could never stand the original Dr. Smith.
What about a female Doctor Who? That's coming.
Oh my God.
That's cool.
I'm all for that stuff, women's rights and equality and why not, all that stuff. But just, I don't know, in my personal taste, don't go messing with the formula, man. That's just me.
Well, they've shown on Doctor Who that Time Lords can go any gender they want. They can be females or they can be males. Why can't the Doctor be a female?
Why not? Sure, and maybe next time around he'll finally get to be a ginger. So, because that's been a bone of contention with Doctor.
Yeah, well, over there in merry old England, they have a problem with redheads, and I don't know what it is. I've never figured that out. Unless it's a Scots thing.
Here's my. I'm going to, because I was being a little facetious there. My thing is that I'm not thrilled to death that they're replacing the Doctor with a female. However, with that said, because I have a track record of being pro women to do anything.
But your life isn't over because
it's not over, and I've already admitted that I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this Doctor, and see how things go on, because that's how I roll. I I may not agree with a certain thing, but I'm willing to be entertained by what you have to offer. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, I want the other side to say, okay, it didn't work out, let's try going back to this, or let's do this, and let's go forth and be happy. And that's where I'm looking at this Doctor Who. And so,
that's where I was at with Star Trek Discovery. I was like, well, all right, let's take a look. And I couldn't get past the pilot. It was just awful. And that's just me. I mean, I'm an old school Star Trek guy,
Mm-hmm.
I grew up. I've gobbled it up my whole life, and I love it, love it, love it. But this just didn't feel right at all. And everything about it was off. So no, I'm done.
Yeah, I haven't watched Discovery, and I don't intend to.
Well, see, and my thought on that is that we've come a long way, especially knowing with Star Trek Discovery, the history there and the lawsuits that were involved with another production that I guess we will not speak the name of, and all that, and how it kind of reverberated through fan Trekdom, and which really pisses me off because there are a lot of great fan production people out there who love Trek, that I feel that Paramount has really missed a boat when it comes to some of these good, honest fan films. And notice what I said there. And it eats me alive, because you have people that are Star Wars fans. And this, everybody, I guess, now that it's Disney, they still embrace the fans. And keep them in, and it's just a part of the whole fandom, and it's amazing that Paramount doesn't see the dollar potential of something bigger here, instead of shooting themselves in the foot along with the fans, and that's always been a big problem with me. And now, with that said, I've watched the Discovery thing. It's all right. I have my beef about the Klingons and the way they look, and I understand that they're trying to give it a fresh look for today. Because when they went from the old series to the theater, to making movies, they gave the Klingons an upgrade look. Okay, I could go with that. I didn't have a problem too much with that when
they explained it later.
Yeah, but the thing is that I'm not thrilled with these Klingons, and
There's a quote. I'm not thrilled with these Klingons.
So, but the way the season ended, because we were looking at some of these ships in this new incarnation of Discovery, it's like these ships look way better than the Constitution class, Enterprise, and all these, and the way it ended, it's kind of like the fleet was pretty much decimated, and so it's like they could make it, when they come back for this next season, more like the original series. And so I don't know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then of course what I've heard is that the next season is more Section 31 friendly, so it will be interesting to see how that pays off.
Well, I just don't know. I haven't been happy with this previous series, and I found where I could catch some of the other episodes online, and I don't know, it just stunk.
And I agree. It's hard to go with something you love, and that's something more recent. And let's go beyond Trek for a second, because I can really get to this matter real quick. Like, for example, Ghostbusters. When they brought Ghostbusters back with an all-female cast, fanboys lost their minds, because it's like, not only did not have the original cast doing it well, they didn't go with a male cast. They went with a totally different direction with an all-female cast. My thoughts on this was that hey, it's still a story. It talks about the more or less borrowing from the old thing of going ghost busting, and some of the characters, you've got Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Saturday Night alumni, could be interesting. Now, I think Sirlana and I, once we watched it, it was like the first few minutes were kind of dragging, but it wasn't really interested until it gets to the end. And they did bring some of the original characters. Bill Murray was in it. Oh, yeah. Dan Aykroyd was in it. And, it's not like that we could recapture it. In other words, it's not going to spoil what I had as a kid watching the original Ghostbusters.
Considering one of them had passed away.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So that, you can't, there's no one that can steal my nostalgia factor in this situation. And if somebody wants to remake
No one can kill your childhood now that you're 40-something or other.
But I kind of look at it from a perspective of now, like, hey, at least they're still producing something new for the kids, young kids these days. And, I'm going to, like, say, well, hey, that's a great movie, but, you should watch this. This is what created it. This is what inspired. And hope that the future generations will fall back to what the original was and experience that at some point.
And embrace it. And I'm hoping that is what happens with Discovery. Is people go, well, what started all this? I haven't seen it. I'll go check it out, and maybe they'll dig it.
Can you dig it?
But as long as they don't, what bothers me is to crap all over the old school fans in the process.
Yes.
Never a smart.
And I agree with you there, because I'm glad you said we're finally kind of like wrapping a few things up here before we end the show. Can you believe it? It's like, I was reading an article about Ready Player One, and as you've mentioned, your love of like, man, this is a movie made for me. And you too, Jody, is like, it was just meant to be. This article was really bashing the nerd that has waited for a movie something like this, and I guess the writer was like kind of pushing the idea that this person this culture needs to die. It needs to go away, and it's like, why? I mean, because sure, I think that this culture needs to stay, because I feel like we're such a youthful culture, even as we get older and eventually get our AARP in the mill. I think we still look at things in a youthful light, and this just makes us shine that much more of how our culture when we were younger was such fun. It was freedom. It was a nostalgic time that I don't think can ever be matched by any other generation, So,
we're the last generation before the internet.
Yes.
When we were kids, it was completely different. You didn't get online and talk to people. You went outside and you made friends.
You'd get on your bike and ride around the neighborhood.
You'd find friends. You didn't come inside until the street lights came on. It's like society is trying its best to just segregate people into these little individualized bubbles. We're not supposed to see each other or talk with one another. I mean, now you got Amazon. Heck, you don't have to go to the grocery store or the mall to do your shopping. Do it online. We'll send it to you.
You don't ever have to leave the house.
You never have
I
to leave your house.
love that, though. I can't function in society.
I totally hear what you are saying, because I miss those days, riding the bike, hanging out with the kids.
I used to be more normal in those days, pre-internet days, and I could function. I didn't have anxiety. I don't know what's caused it, but I can't be around others without terrible anxiety.
And your 20 cats.
So you and I are more alike than you imagine. If there's more than two people over in this house, I have severe anxiety attacks, and I have to come downstairs.
I don't tell people where we live. Just avoid that. I won't give them our address.
That's the difference between me and Jim. Jim is an extremely social person. I can be social to a degree, and then I get tired, and then I want to be by myself.
Yeah, my Jim is like that. He has to be social to a degree. It recharges his battery, and then he has to expend it and be away for a while, and then he'll come back. Whereas I'm like, I don't need you. Stay away.
Yeah, and she even says that to me. So anyway, on that magical note, we've reached the end of our program, but I do want to give you all an opportunity to, tell our audience any Facebook links or your links to your website, all that good stuff, even though we have a link on our website, where we can find y'all.
Plug away.
We're on just about every platform you can imagine.
ExploreTheOuterRim.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Reddit, I think. You name it, we're probably on it.
Yeah. We're just everywhere.
What were you going to say, Sir Lana?
Oh, no, I had a hiccup. Sorry.
Oh.
I had too much Dr. Pepper.
You know, sometimes I get excited like that, thinking that she's going to say something to me, but you know, she starts to burp and it sounds like dubstep. So you know.
Thanks for sharing that with the entire living world. You interrupted them.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim and Jody. What were you all saying? Because I apparently am being backlished here.
We're on social media everywhere. You can find us.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. And Jim and Jody, you know, we love y'all to death. It's like looking in a mirror, so to speak, and with our lives. And y'all are quite entertaining.
Jody's my spirit animal.
You go from Tad over there, which is a mannequin, is your spirit animal. Now, I wouldn't put too much stock in that, Jody.
Yeah, because people say the crazy crap like that. I'm like, I want to do that too.
Yeah, well, don't feel bad. A ham sandwich is my spirit animal.
That actually sounds like a pretty good spirit animal.
Let's go find some meat. Make a sandwich.
But with the hot mustard. It's got to have the hot
No.
Yes, hot mustard.
He bought a jar of pickles a week or two ago, and I haven't been near him since. So I have to wait for the pickle funk to dissipate. So.
Oh, garlic dills, I'll bet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, those are delicious. I'm getting a new batch of pickles next week.
Bring it.
Find a new place to live.
All right, guys. Well, hold tight there. Let us finish out the program, and we'll talk to you a little bit after the program here. And if y'all can hang there, okay? All right. You got a pipe? Yeah, pipe you down for a second. So hold tight. So another crazy adventure with Jim and Jody.
We knew that was going to be good.
Oh yeah, and you know,
it's like talking to friends.
So housekeeping.
You know more about next month than I do.
I do.
Yeah, the next Saturday.
Well, I know next Saturday we have Uncle Brent, musician gentleman, that is. I've known for many years. In fact, I went to high school with him, and he's got his own little band called No Stone Music, and it'll be nice to chit-chat with him about his music, because it's a music episode programming, and you know, who knows what will happen, because Brent is quite an interesting character.
Is he Texan?
Yes, he's a Texan.
There you go.
I think he lives close to Austin, but like between us and Austin, and not San Antonio and Austin. Right. And so that's going to be the first Saturday of the month, and I don't have
other stuff in front of you, but there'll be a history show at some point here that I alluded to previously.
I know that I think the 14th is Patrick Sporer
will be back.
Yes, looking forward to talking to him.
And we're going to talk all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah,
kind of like tonight.
Yeah, kind of like tonight. It'll be pop culture things. I know that Patrick is like me. He likes to binge watch. He likes to watch movies. He's constantly sending me information about movies and all that good stuff. So we'll look forward to talking to him.
Getting compliments for Jim and Jody in the chat room. They enjoyed it.
Well, Space Cadets, we appreciate you tuning in to the universe. It's always a pleasure to explore the universe with our Space Cadets. As always, become a subscriber to Spreaker and to the YouTube channel and all that good stuff. And as we get closer to Comic Palooza 2018, we'll make sure you're a part of the broadcast. So look forward to that. And so on that magical note, say goodnight, Sir Lana.
Nah.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Executive producer is Sir Lana. Social media producer is Dennis Koch. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K28, Solars Blue Raven, Patrick Sporer, Dino, Bob and Beverly M. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.